waiting on some people to show up to this thing so that I can make each single one of the AMC investors or the meme stocks understand why it's such an easy play and why it's going to be squeezing. Um, Again, I'm not a financial advisor, guys. This is not financial advice, but um, hey, what's up, Future Whale? How you doing, brother? I'm literally just so you guys would know, just the first few people on the in this chat. I'm only doing this live right now. I had a really crazy Friday yesterday, but I'm only doing this live so I can make so many of you guys feel so much more comfortable and confident about our play, especially about AMC, because I've put it up. What's up, Ham? How you doing, brother? Um, I've 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 put up a certain amount of videos yesterday. It was like 6 videos that I threw up yesterday, and I wanted to go ahead and you know go ahead and give you guys a little intake and little input on those things. So if you understand these things, you would totally have a much broader idea on the AMC play, and you will for sure uh, have much less questions because it's this unknown, the great unknown that the fear thrives in. So we're gonna tackle that and kick that out for you guys. You know, um, First of all, I want to say thanks, Nick. Thank you guys for everything, for following the channel, subscribing, and liking the videos. You guys have been amazing. Uh, let's see, what did Ham just say? I'm PPCEI going to do well, I think, man. Yeah, Ham, I've mentioned this before, and I think I put it. I forgot which video it was. Um, I said that I made a prediction that when these things, like, you gotta watch out with those. I do call them, and I still stick by the fact that these are pump and dumps stocks. But that does not mean you can't make money on them, because if you time the trend correctly and you see it and you go along with the trend, you will make money. I put that in my videos. I was like, hey, I'm making a bold prediction. Those were my exact words. Those IMPP, Houston Oil, US Well Services, these stocks, Indo Oil, these stocks are gonna go up and down, and they're basically cashing up on the way up and on the way down because they make a lot of a big position on the plays as they go up, and then they short it back down. It's as simple as that, guys. And you guys could do the same thing. Let's see. Uh, has the reverse report number went down? No, we're future well. Here's the thing. So I know you watched my last videos, and you would have so much more idea on how to tackle this AMC play, especially nowadays with all this FUD going around. And I'm so concerned with the fact that almost every single person who wants to do a YouTube thing is jumping on, utilizing the AMC movement and pushing out stuff that I swear to you guys, I've been seeing YouTube channels that they have zero clue what they're speaking about. They most likely are following some other channels and kind of copying and pasting what the information that the other channels have to say. Um, or they're just mumbling things out, and in a way no one is out there to check them. I mean, I literally just the other day seen a channel where someone read an article, completely misread it, and next thing you know, you know before the chat corrected that person, they were going along saying that BlackRock got completely got margin. They did correct their mistake. No give nothing against the guys. I love the fact that influencers are coming out to talk about things, but guys, this is a squeeze play and this is all about money. So therefore let's just put it this way. This is not just about influencing. This is more about it's so much bigger than just that. So you got to be able to see what makes sense and what doesn't. We're going to get right into the topic here real soon. I'm just waiting for some more people to get in. So if you haven't liked the video, please like it so we can push it out to more and more people. Sorry to ask. uh Oil, gold is still a monster for sure. Yeah, you're right, Han. It is. We're still in that time. In fact, we didn't even jump into the real value of gold yet. This is another one of my predictions. And oil. Wait, like there's some crazy times coming for that. Um, thank you, future. April April 14 calls I got for AMC. I have had them for months. Man, I wish that shit would fly. What's up, Alan? Um, okay, Ham, let me tell you this. I have so many screenshots of my trades, and I would not be kidding you guys if I tell you that I almost have, I have always, almost throughout the whole time of me investing, I can literally just about probably say that I have invested in just about every stock that you see out there. Literally, like almost every. And of course, not all thousands of stocks, but literally almost very of them because I'm a day trader as well. So if I am not a long-term investor in a certain stock, I have come across it at some point, whether just to make quick money, day money, and move forward or not. But I've been seeing a lot of influencers that literally and YouTubers that are pushing things that literally have nothing to do with the plays. And again, nothing against anyone in particular, but if the theories that I put in the videos as I said yesterday, I'm gonna dive into them a little more in this live. And if anyone have questions about those videos, those 6 specific videos, feel free to put them in the chat. Um, Alan said, so you have some Mullen. I've literally like Mullen, believe it or not, Alan. I've traded it a few months back when it was around the $9 and $10 area, rode it up to the 12, let it go, and then this pre-market on Friday, I've got into it and got out of it before even the market opened. Um, it's to me, I've made myself even clear about that. As far as long term, I'm not into that. Uh, there's many more to me proven EV sector stocks that have shown proof, like they're proven to me to get into that. But this in this time right now, the times that we're in, if it's not a squeeze play that you're in, this is my personal opinion, guys. If I'm not in a squeeze play, then I'm not into no long-term plays as of right now because the downturn as far like on the rest of the market still did not officially fully happen yet. So I'm waiting for way better prices down the line to go long on almost any play. um what's my stance on HYMC? I mean, you guys probably seen that article that came out about this law firm that you know that is coming out to investigate this stuff. um I think basically, I mean, any stock would eventually at some point go up into unless it goes bankrupt. So let's put it this way. Are you thinking about going long term in HYMC? Because as far as I see it, a lot of people got caught in. Some people made some money, got in and got out. A lot of people got in and now they're basically bag holding, and a lot of people got in to seen it drop, took a loss, and literally submit like submit a loss on that ticket. um it's going to take a few months for at least this whole talk about that article in the law firm to do its thing. Look at the perfect person to compare this to, that stock to, is Sava. Sava is a much more expensive, um but the situations of things that are happening with it is very similar. Another one is in Inovio Pharmaceuticals. That one had the similar back and forth litigation and all that stuff. And it eventually, what did it do? It just took so much time. Right now, personally, for me, I'm kind of like, this is the times that I'm going to be money hungry because in a few years' time, you're going to have a very boring market where volatility is very low. When the market rebounds, it's going to be filled with just nothing but S&P 500 plays and long-term plays, and that's what it comes down to. But right now, it's all about collecting as much so that you could take care of yourself later. That's just my stance, Alan. I'm holding that shit 900 shares, $1.34 average. So we see what happens. Short inches is crazy. So yeah, Ham, again, I'm not here to tell anyone when to get out or how to get out or what the price to sell at. Uh, you know your best interest. Um, I'm just saying that AMC obviously, or some other plays like even bbig or GameStop for sure, have been shorted for much longer, and have a much bigger following. So you do what you want to do with that info. Nice. BitNow is also looking good. Around Young Finest. How's it going, Young? Um, Around July, I see the MOA starting or early 2023 tops. Young, you brought out a very like with that is a very valuable comment, and it could have some truth to it. However, I've mentioned many times in my videos before that if this thing does not take off in the April to May timeframe, this is just me, speaking, and I've shown a little bit of evidence in the April about the April 18th timeframe for some regulation to go in. If you haven't seen the 6 videos I put up yesterday, maybe you should go ahead and see them at your own convenience. Um, but if it doesn't take off then I would definitely be looking at that, like you said, the July to 2023. But in fact, as far as a GameStop investor as well, most GameStop investors have, like the ones that have been in it since January or even right around that time frame or even before, are expecting 2023 because it revolves around a lot of things that Ryan Cohen have promised and a lot of things that will go into effect by 2023, including the company going profitable by then. So that's something that could happen, but you can never forget and count out the fact. This is why I say April to May, and it could be even sooner, because sometimes you could have a plan as much as you want. That's on their side. But one thing could happen to make everything so bad, and that one thing could easily be the money liquidation. When the feds are not gonna give out more money, and we will see that throughout the repo and reverse repo transactions on a daily base. When you see that dwindle down, and I do solely believe that, in my opinion, that these guys have, like, most of the crime has been in the repo and reverse repo transactions, um, simply because they need money to get through. That's besides all the money that they make on these pump and dump stocks that they do on a daily base. Um, they When that starts going down as far as repo and reverse repo operations, you're going to start seeing other stocks, like in the meme stock movement, start out of nowhere, just like booming up out of nowhere and then going back down, and somebody else is going to be like a domino effect on all of them. Let me see. How is crypto connected to GameStop? Oh, loop rank. Finest. um AMC is way more compressed. Of course, I agree with Alan. I agree with that. It is way more compressed because there's a lot more in it. Like, there's a lot of more individuals, investors holding a lot of more stock in AMC. Because let's face it, and I wouldn't be surprised if also Sundial has even more than AMC and GameStop. So is BBIG, and the reasons why. Again, guys, look at the dollar value. When you see, like, when you're a person and you watch that GameStop, I'm gonna take you back to the GameStop situation, okay? Back in January 2021, when that took off from the $3, $4, $5 range all the way to the upper 400s, do you know how many people started saying, like, "Oh wow, this is jackpot"? It was like a casino moment. A lot of people wanted to jump in. Whoever couldn't jump in, or who didn't even have enough money to jump into that craziness back then, they literally, their next second best guy was AMC. A lot of people jumped in BlackBerry. A lot of people jumped in Bed Bath and Beyond. A lot of people jumped in, obviously, Sundial, even tlry. tlry gets no recognition on YouTube as far as I've seen, especially when it merged with Afaria and becoming the biggest marijuana uh, organization on the globe, not just in one place. That one is so suppressed to oblivion as well. Um, The only difference is that AMC, why is it the most compressed out of all of them? Is because it has the most loyal base that you can see. GameStop has the most loyal base as well, but it is a much less in quantity wise base, which shouldn't even matter much because again, the float on GameStop's end is also much smaller than AMC's. So it kind of equals each other out. Those two plays are going to be monsters no matter what. They've already been monsters. And if you've seen the 6 videos that I uploaded yesterday, you will know why they behave the way that they are and why we're still here waiting on the squeeze. Let's see. Young, I'm going to read your comment. What's your stance on everything being connected to GameStop directly or indirectly? I feel like global events, market events, New World Order events is somehow connected to GME, aka the MOAs. Okay, here's why. In a way, GME became the face of the meme stock movement. Okay, this is why it seems like everything is connected to GME. But when it boils down, if you really want to look behind the curtain, in my opinion, they're all on that hit list. All those stocks, and they've been able to kill a lot of those stocks in that movement of theirs. And this is why they're taking this long. But that's not the only reason why. They're hitting more than one bird with one stone. The main reason is because they don't have enough capital to cover all the meme stocks at once. So when they get to a point where they have tackled many of them out of their positions, and they will see eventually by then who they have to go against, most likely AMC, GameStop, and a few other meme stocks, then it's something or an event that they can have or they can tackle. At the end of the day, you guys got to remember all these halts that are put in place, they're put so that money can be transferred from point A to point B, and eventually from point B to point C, which is you and me, basically in our wallets. So those halts are not just there to stop a movement or, to break down the momentum. Those orders, if somebody is processing a sell order or a buy order, those orders are going to go in, whether it's halted or not. As soon as it reopens, that order is going to go through all of them, whether buy or sell. And especially when they're covering, like those halts, like don't let the scars of the previous halts play with your mind for the upcoming situation with the squeeze. And here's why: because they've been doing this on purpose. They've been kind of gauging the momentum of the crowd. Similarly, as when they showed, if you remember Funware, the company, the stock guys, you remember how it was supposed to squeeze. They halted it, and it's close. They halted it, and then it dropped from that $12 range. I mean, I was on that basket when it rode it from literally from $2 or $3 all the way to the $12 range. It hit 18 when it was squeezing, then it halted and dropped back down. These are things to make you remember. They're scarring you basically, so that when the squeeze comes, the first halt you see, you start thinking of the past, and next thing you know, you're pressing sell and you're getting out of your position, which works to their advantage because they get to cover for much cheaper. Again, I'm not a financial advisor, guys. Neither I'm giving financial advice, but there is so much, if I was one, that I would love to give you. But obviously, this is the law, and this is how it works, especially with the regulations and YouTube. So yeah, hopefully that could answer the question on that. Alan said, is there anything in the Fed register that says April 18th transparency will be in effect, or in fact will be implemented? As far as it being implemented, no. As far as April 18th, and it's not about the transparency that I was covering that for. That was more about how like all the ATS, the dark pools basically will have to, and remember this rule or this regulation has been in the works since September 2020. So you might have an idea on how the government could have possibly, or the feds possibly knew about this whole situation ahead of it starting and set up the whole motion. And we probably are in this movement that has been pre-predicted by some other individuals. However, I'm not going to throw any allegations out there, but this regulation has been in the works since September 2020, and it's been kicked down the line more and more and more. But what's so amazing about this, and why I think it's even more amazing than the transparency itself, is because this governs the dark pool transactions. So also known as ATS. So the ATSs, until now, they can do whatever they want ungoverned, just about. They don't have to worry about the fair aspect of things on the market, no regulations and nothing. They don't have to report to anyone at all. This changes all that because they would have to, even though because there's two types. There's ones that just trade government securities, and there's dark pools that trade both. And obviously, this regulation, if it was to be implemented or go into effect on April 18th, that's when the comments are supposed to be coming back. So maybe the implementation could be after, at a known date in that time frame, and then those dark pools would have to report all what their transactions are in between each other. So like if I am a big institute and I'm going to the dark pool to roll through all the retail orders as far as for AMC, GameStop, or any meme stocks, and I'm packaging them up into small folders and boxes, and I'm dumping them on the dark pool to trade it with the feds in that reverse repo and repo operations. I literally just broke it down to you guys. If you notice, like the process of what goes in from point A to point B to C to back to Z. So when they do all that, they have to report who was involved, what was in those, and they have to share all that what's in within. So finally, the SEC, in my opinion, if that regulation goes completely through, then finally the SEC can actually be a lot more beneficial to the stock market and to the investors, retail investors, of course, because now they're in a position where if they see wrong, they can't just cover it. I mean, I know the stance of most of you on the SEC, but truthfully, if they can't see it, even though they know it's there, but if they can't see it and put their fingers on it, they can't make anything about it. You heard Gary Gensler say that more than 90% to more than 90% of orders get routed through the dark pools. Remember that. That was the SEC, Gary Gensler saying that. This is why I'm telling you, and probably the only one telling you so much more about that regulation and why that one is a lot more important, because payment for order flow is in a way, obviously a big problem, but guess what? The payment for order flow needs the dark pools in order for it to work, because they can pay Robinhood and Webull and Moomoo and whatever as much money as they want as far as the market maker goes. But if they can't get if they can get all those orders and they can't route them through the dark pools, then payment for order flow really does not do anything, like in a way, does not affect us as much. So the market maker needs that dark pool manipulation so that he can funnel in all the crap that he gets from the payment for order flow corruption through those apps. You see what I'm saying? So all those are needed. If that middle bridge is crushed, trust me, nothing from the other side or the bottom side where the apps or the brokers would affect us at all, because now these guys are in a position where the SEC can literally see something and point it out, because by the law they can't take the risk of being captured lying about seeing corruption and not doing anything about it. Hopefully that was a good explanation, guys. It's very important. Let's see, where are we here? ATJ, can you talk about SEC transparency proposal? Is it in effect, or when will it go in effect? Okay, ATJ, as far as what we know right now, it is not in effect. Now, obviously, when these regulations go in, they never just come out of the blue and they start, and now let's all watch it on like a Super Bowl on live TV. Of course, they would have it implemented ahead of time so they could see some damages themselves, so they can control the damage that come after. Now, obviously, that's not something that's going to be televised or told to us, but when officially it is official, trust me, by then it's going to be no time before the other side have to do all their covering and all that stuff that they have to do. I'm gonna follow it with trust me, bro. Um, Peter Jefferson, what's up, bro? Supporting the channel and the content. Peter, appreciate you so much. Hopefully, we all get really, really, really paid on this movement. But I appreciate you a lot. Thank you so much. Young, is Lou an agent? Serious question. I think he might be without him. I think he might be without even him knowing it. Okay, okay. Lou, one thing I will give the guy. Obviously, he has experience. A lot of YouTubers obviously hate uh, on him and any of that stuff. I have my fair share of the issues with him, but my issues are different than everybody's. My issues with him is that I understand that you know a lot and you've been around. So like he has the experience as far as being in the market for a long time. And I've noticed that a lot of other YouTubers, me being in the market for a while, I've seen a lot of other YouTube channels that when they speak, I know they're not speaking based on experience. They're speaking based on things that they're just now experiencing. They're going to do some DD and homework, and that's fine. Um, but nothing can pay, you can never pay for experience. Time is something you cannot buy and pay for. It's just the trends of the markets. The people with an older age or the people that have been in the market for a longer time just will always have that edge on anyone else. Doesn't matter how much DD they do. I don't think he's an agent, honestly, because if he was an agent, he would have steered everyone in the wrong direction long, long, long time ago. I see what you said about him not even knowing it. He seems to be a very intelligent guy, honestly. So I don't think he. I mean, you've seen some of his videos where he says, you know, some people are trying to get to him and he turns them down and whatnot. He knows a duck before he sees it. So let's just put it that way. Um, it's so funny because he has a duck on his videos he features. So I think the guy is pretty cool. I just my issue with him is he doesn't show why he says what he says or what he thinks those things are. So like similar to the March 3rd transparency rule, a lot of people who have much less experience, they just take words and like only certain words get highlighted in their head. So when he says stuff like that, people took it as March 3rd. That's it. We're gonna moas. And unfortunately that didn't. So that he has to keep in mind that everyone that he's speaking to is not this at the same level of expertise that on regulations and things that are going on in the market. So therefore, I just want him to start breaking things. I would love for him to break things down more to his following and the rest of the community, so that people can see really like make an educated decision on things of their own. I'm not telling him to tell people when to sell or how to do things. No one should, but I think he needs to show his theses and what's behind it in order for him to gain the trust of everyone else. Does he have to do that? No. It's up to him at the end of the day. But again, this is just me speaking on another guy. So hopefully he does. That's just my thing, on that. Hopefully that answered the question. Yeah. Pabloco, what's up, man? How are you doing, brother? Common Sense Investor would like to have you on if you are available. I don't know. Is that did he just put that up? Or when did he put that? Alan, they may need extended halts to sell hedge fund positions to get liquidity to cover our beloved AMC. Yeah, they put those in effect already. And some of you might not know this, guys. And let me just put it out there. There are also different type of halts. There are halts specifically there's halts that are market wide. Okay, a lot of people don't know this, and don't worry, I'm not gonna leave you out of the loop. So there are halts that affect just a certain stock. So for example, let's say AMC is flying 40-50% all within less than 10 minutes. They might halt it, 15-minute halt, no problem, circuit breaker. But there are halts that are market wide halts, and those operate on 3 different circuit breakers. First one is, and it revolves around the S&P 500. So if the S&P 500 falls in value about 7% with less than the previous trading day, that will trigger a 15-minute halt on the market in total, as a whole. Then, like all trading, if it goes up, I think the second one was, I think it was 10%. If it falls 10% from before the trading value of the previous trading day, then they will halt it for, I think it was like an hour or a couple hours for like the whole market will. And the third and last is if it falls, I think 21 or 30% in a session, and 21 to 30% less than the previous trading business day, they will suspend it for the rest of the day on a market-wide shutdown. So a lot of people are focusing on certain things, but they're forgetting about other halts as well, because their plan is to confuse the living hell out of you when this time comes. My plan is to make sure that does not happen. Peter, you are literally one of the last real channels to follow for the meme movement and how to look at the market. Most of the influencers now are prison to movement or just annoying with Discord stuff. Peter, I see what well, first appreciate that gesture. I'm very humbled by that. As you can see, I don't know how to take good compliments very well. I don't think I'm doing anything special, but things that I know, I feel like I need to put it out to you guys. I literally could have done this, guys, like literally all the way back since 2020. I literally have been talking about it, wanting to do it, but I never wanted to be in no spotlight or none of that stuff. But seeing where the influencers or the YouTubers have been leading the investors to, it's a shame, because you see how the hedge funds and the market is gauging your and mine behavior. They see that everybody is so dying and please squeeze tomorrow, please squeeze next month. That's something that they're gauging. And when they see that, they smell desperation. And when they smell desperation, they're like, okay, let's keep it on for another month or so or whatever. Let's see how they behave. Let's see how many break ranks. And then certain YouTubers calling out dates. It's ruining the movement more than anything, you know. However, I made in those 6 videos that I uploaded yesterday, I showed you how this whole thing is going, why they are doing what they've been doing for the last year and a half almost, and why is this thing is still gonna do what it does. Hopefully I don't get out of nowhere, like get hit like Al from Boston out of nowhere. I don't know, obviously, if his allegations is true or not. I mean, again, we've seen the documents that came out and the allegations that came out about him, but the guy was making some serious good DD as far as pertaining to prices, and I think somebody probably didn't like it, so they went ahead and had to, you know, cut the loose end, and at that point, it was him. Now, do I agree totally with all his all his crazy analysis and everything? And I'm saying crazy, not that it was bad. But it's crazy to say that 100,000 per share obviously was possible, and it is mathematically possible, but out of pocket, who is gonna pay that? Who has that money to pay that for millions of people holding a minimum of, probably on an average, back in June or July, we were on an average holding 500 a piece, 500 shares. Just do the math, guys. Multiply this by that crazy number, and then see how many multiplied by how many investors we have in AMC. Just give a rough estimate, and you will see if that number even pops up on the calculator. Stay true and stay purist, please. Trust me, Peter. Let me tell you this. First of all, one, I don't need money, brother. Like, and this is just to show you that, you know, I'm gonna be me no matter what. Since I was 21 years old, I have not worked for anyone, and this is not something. This is just a badge of honor for myself. My dream was to always be my own boss. So at 18, you know, going to, you know, public schools here and coming up in a very, very, very humbled family beginnings. My dream was to always work for myself and not work for anybody who could dictate how, by their mood, can dictate my life. and that my day. So I worked hard on it. I did 3 and 4 jobs, 3 straight years when everybody was out partying from 18 to 21 and everybody wanted to do stupid stuff at that age. I did the opposite and I sacrificed 3 years of my life. So by 21, I opened up my first business. And ever since then, I've been doing things on my own, opening up small businesses, trying to empower others, going back to my high schools and middle schools to show that uh, it is possible. It doesn't matter where you start, it's all about where you end. And that is very important because you can't get caught into how many people or how the system or your cards that have been dealt to you are bad. You have to change those things. And you're in the most amazing country for that. This is the country of opportunity, guys. And if you die broke or poor, again, poor is a definition that you can define. It's not money that makes you rich or poor. It's you from within. And dying broke is a choice. It's not something that happened to you. You have to make those choices. You have to make those things to make things better. So, and just to add more to what you were saying, brother, just to add more to it, besides running my own businesses and working for myself, I've been in the stock market since 2018, taking it seriously, and the crypto market since 2012, 2013. Of course, it was crazy back then for crypto market, and it was terrible. I say that in the live with the Massalorian. But the stock market, the biggest play I was involved in was in June. First, it was in Doge in January, and a little bit of other meme stocks that I was in. And in June, I had crazy amounts of call options on AMC, and I've had them all the way out in back in, it was like in March to April of 2021, and then literally 2 months later, they went all like the $40 that was completely out of the money back then. That was the highest you could get on the option chain. That became so easily in the money, and they costed nothing at that time. That I'm not telling anyone now to go and jump and start YOLOing uh, with options, but I'm just telling you that when you do your own thing and you realize and it makes sense to you, what I put out yesterday on those 6 videos, that's what the things that I followed to get into that position. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Those call options, I mean, I had over 200 call options and they were very cheap. They costed me nothing but about $8,000 to $10,000 at that time. Yeah, I know that's a good amount, but for a lot of people, and I'm very humbled, but I got that, believe it or not, guys, not from my personal store money. I got that from within the market. From trading from the market, I started out with literally $300 and kept working them, kept working them, kept working them. I did add my stimulus money that came in because I didn't need it for my personal life. So I did add those to my portfolio. I kept flipping these things, and those call options in June by themselves. I remember I was in fact watching Matt Core's live at that day, and he didn't know how to react emotionally. The words, he couldn't bring them out because there were so many people in that live chat that he had that were saying, I'm officially a millionaire, I'm officially a millionaire, I'm officially a millionaire. And he was like, guys, this is so great. Matt Core's fashion. I just love with it. This is great. This is what it's all about, and all that stuff. And I remember that day like it was yesterday. Um, and my point is to increase your guys' morale at around this time because everybody is down emotionally and mentally, especially whether it's from influencers that they have trusted for a while and now they're leading them in a really dark alley, or because there's a lot of questions that you have and you don't know the answers to them. And I believe that if you know the whole makeup of the situation, you would not have all these questions. You would have much less um, future. I think the day reverse repost starts dropping is when the squeezes start. There's a lot of truth to that, future will. There's a lot of truth to that. Obviously, at that point, you'll start seeing that means the feds obviously are not pumping as much money in the market, and that which means these guys are not getting that are oppressing us. They're not getting liquidity that they need, and you see all these hedge funds that are going to other hedge funds asking them for money, for help. Basically, they're begging, telling them, please, I need this or I'm gonna break ranks. And best believe the big companies, if they feel like they want to drag this on longer, this is why we've been in this for about a year and a half. You remember when Citadel gave Melvin a billion or $1.5 billion, they didn't just give it to them because they're like, yeah, screw the apes. No, they gave it to them because they know if Melvin falls, it's their ass that eventually will fall with them. So they needed this thing to keep going, and they were willing to give them money so that they could get this thing going. But right now, when the feds are not giving the big dogs any money, the little dogs that are in the front lines, those are all vulnerable. They're all literally standing and shaky, and they're like, hey, similar to, like, when you're trying to delete an app on your iPhone, that's what they look like right now. And they're standing at their mercy. They've been just going along with what these big dogs have been telling them. And it won't be long. When you start seeing that drop, that's when you start seeing the obviously the stocks going up. Let's see. Why was Lou spreading false hope on transparency? Shaking my damn head. See, this is my thing, Alan. If he was to possibly explain, I understand some people might have a lot of ego and stuff like that, but this is bigger than anyone or anyone's ego or any people that you could think of. This is a big movement with millions of people on it. So I would appreciate it a lot if he was to come out and detail all the things. Who did he talk to? His inside people that he says, I was talking to some people and you know what happened and now we're here. Just say, you don't have to disclose what they do for a living or whatnot. Just say, hey, I was speaking to some people that are in the market or are in such and such. I can't disclose their names, but this is, guys, what we came up with, and blah, blah, blah. If you come true, unfiltered, it's hard for anyone to not believe you. By the way, I appreciate you guys all for subscribing to the channel and to also liking the video, because it pushes it out to more and more people. And I believe that I'm saying so many things, me being in this movement since before majority of these YouTubers that are out there. And most precisely, I've been in this thing since, like, invested in the stocks since before even Trey or this. I remember even Trey himself or Matt Kors when they came in, and like even Trey saying himself that he did not have much experience in this, but he's learning as he goes. So I give the guy a big thumbs up because he came, didn't know much, made something out of nothing, and next thing you know, he's where he's at now. So much kudos to the guy. Let's see. Alan, can't make a case on something they don't have physical proof on. Yeah, I mean, especially the SEC, they can't make a case they don't have physical proof on. As funny as it sounds, sometimes when, like, the police tries to catch a criminal, they see him, but they know that they killed this person, but they can't find a body, they can't find the weapon or the tool that was used to make the crime. They still look until they find that thing. If they don't find that thing, then it's sad because you know that this is what it is, but you have to physically prove it. And that's where the SEC are at. And they're doing it perfectly, especially with attacking that ATS regulation. To me, that is the most important regulation that the SEC can go after to hurt these guys. Hopefully it does not get amended or kicked down longer. Because again, it's been in the works since September of 2020, guys. Almost 2 years. Would they clean up the line? What's up, Lion? It's been a minute. I haven't seen you, so hopefully you're good. Would they clean up those dark pools before April? I sure do hope so. It all depends on if they do that. That means the April 18th is the day that they're gonna, really pass that regulation. And obviously they would want to get rid of all their tracks before, anybody sees a physical proof of it. Peter Jefferson, thank you. Payment for order flow isn't the problem. It's always been ATS the whole time. Destroy that and we squeeze in less than a week. Volume wouldn't be suppressed anymore. Yeah, exactly. So they can do payment for order flow, and the market maker paying the little broker, Robinhood, Webull, whoever it is, some money for their for bringing them, routing them the orders. But if they can't do nothing with it, if the market maker can't do anything with it or funnel it in some profile or hide it in some index funds, IWM, over to, so they could get repo and reverse repo transactions in it and get money for it to keep suppressing us, then all that is for nothing. They're not going to want to pay for something that they can't make money off of. That's the point. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Lou said, if we don't MOAS in March, basically Fed isn't doing anything about it after that. Same feel I got from him in July, getting tired of Lou on these dates. Um, you're not the only one, probably, Alan. So again, I have made my investments not just by following what anyone says. Basically, I take what it is and see if I sort through it. If somebody's giving me valuable, uh, you know, advice or valuable information, you can see it, you can feel it. It's going to be so unfiltered, and it will make sense. But if someone is just telling me to trust them without backing with anything else, that just goes solely about against my total makeup of how to go about life. So that is much deeper at that point. Joe, what's up, bro? What's up, Joe? How are you doing, brother? Um, Al from Boston was chopped down by big money paying girls to trap him on social media. Yeah, I mean, in your opinion, of course. Again, at that point, I just didn't. What's crazy is that the guy like he deleted everything, but he never came out to just address that stuff. Like that's where the hatchet lies for me. Um, like at least come out and say, hey, no, I didn't do it. I promise it's a lie or whatever. Or come out and say, I'm sorry. I hate this. I would never want to do this because you got to remember, he was getting a lot of following and he had a lot going on. He was paying for some uh, data to be delivered straight to him, a lot of things that he was financially invested in as well. So, like, for him not to even address the situation, it's a little sus to me. But again, does it affect me? No, because my theory was going to be, and my strategy is going to be the same. Pabloco, sorry, I was driving on the highway. I reached out to CSI and he said he'd love to have you on. You have knowledge and experience that other people aren't putting out there. Well, Pabloco, thank you so much for doing so. Um, I've reached out to CSI. I was actually the first person I've reached out to before when I first got to in the channel was CSI. And the one thing that I fear the most, if you guys ask me, is the fact that this channel is fairly new, like my channel, but I fear that the fact that I'm giving out so much info that only a few people are able to see it, and that's totally fine by me. I can't go against the grace of God or the fate that or destiny that God has put ahead of us. At the end of the day, we're just moving, a moving hand in it. But my thing is, I would love to push this stuff out to much, much, much more and many more people so that we can end this, like this fear and stuff. Just so you guys can remember, if you're new inside this movement, doesn't matter what stock you're in, what we're having now as issues, we did not have that back in January or February or March or April or even June. The morale was completely different. And that's one thing that they were afraid of the most. Now we're giving them breathing room. They feel like they taste the blood, that everybody is tired. Guys, if you got into these plays thinking that this thing was going to be just pumping out of nowhere and within a month, then I'm sorry to break it to you guys that this is the stock market with all the manipulation, with all the craziness that happened in it. You're not in a pump and dump stock. You're not in an earnings play where, like, oh, earnings are going to be announced. If it's a great earnings, the stock is going to rip. So you go in it a day before, or a week before, 2 weeks before at most, and then you go up, ride it out, and come back down, and you exit out when you make your money. This is not the same. This is a play that is squeezing. You're trying to obliterate some of the most powerful and influential and richest people possibly on this planet, not just in this country. And in order for you to do so, you have to obliterate all of them. Do you think it's just going to go happen in 1 month or in 1 week? It literally could have, had there been any manipulation in the stock market with all the stuff that I've been telling you as far as repo, reverse repo, PFOF, so many things, you know, dropping shares left and right from board members, all that made this play go this long. But again, it's a squeeze play. If you check on the past, you will see that squeeze plays are not done in a week or in a month. They take years. We've been in throughout most of the squeeze time now. Now it's about who gets dried up from these guys and who don't have the liquidity to keep retaining that position that they're holding. If they can't, they're screwed. They're done for, and they will bring down everyone else above them. Let's see. Maddox, how are you doing? AB, in your opinion, does us continuing to buy the dip affect the movement at all? Does it harm or help the squeeze? Okay, so this is a very unique question. I know some YouTubers are out there saying you don't because this is bad and it's you're liquidating and you're bringing the price down through your own money. There's a lot of truth to that, but here's the thing. Who is anyone to tell anyone you can't up your position in this play or any of the plays? No one can do that, right? No one can also tell anyone not sell. It's again, it's a personal choice. Here's the thing. I don't think that it can harm it really like the way that it's described to be, because at the end of the day, the more that's on the train, the more that they have to deal with. You know, they can't just, if this ship is landing on the dock, they can't just say we are only going to take these 5 containers and the rest we're going to leave them on the ship. No, the ship have come here. Now it's on the dock and it arrived, and now you have to deal with this. Now they have to buy all those things out. Now, what the real question is, or what I think the real deal is when this process starts taking off, how, like, people need to prepare themselves. The most important thing to prepare for are how to mentally prepare for these halts and not get scared or worried when they happen. As far as the first halt, these things are coming. Take my word for it, those things are happening. There's nothing that will make a stock rip from the levels that it's at to 500x, 1000x, 2000x, whatever the case, without being halted multiple times. And at the end of the day, you just got to keep in the back of your head the thought that they have to close out those short positions. And the higher the number goes, if they're still in their short positions, oh my Lord, then that will tell you all you need to know. That means they still can retain their margin status. Because the way that margin works, people can get margin almost every week. But if they bring the money to put in their account, it happened with a lot of retail investors. So like, let's say, and I know a lot of investors, this happened with them because I've seen them post about it. They would get a message out of nowhere from whether Webull or whatever broker, and they will say, hey, you need to put this much amount to get out of this call, this margin call. If you don't, then we will liquidate your position. If you are able to come up with that money and you put it in your account, guess what? The margin goes away. That's the same thing that works with these guys as well, with institutions. So if the run up is happening and these guys are not selling their short positions yet, or they're not covering yet, that means whatever price it's at, it's worth far more than where it truthfully is. I hope that makes any sense, guys. Alan, ATS is basically the smoking gun. Dark pools is where, yes, it is the smoking gun, because this is where all the crime is covered. You know, we have a lot of great DD, right, guys? We have a lot of people who are very intelligent and smart, and they've been working for a year and a half, whether on Reddit, whether on YouTube, whether on Facebook, wherever, whatever platform. One thing that the dark pools, any of those people cannot verify or get into are the dark pools. We know that majority of the float is going through the dark pool. Okay, it doesn't take a genius for that. But who can come out and say that it's this many AMC stocks and this many GameStop stocks on this given day were traded in the dark pool, and in return they were also traded as assets with the banks to the central federal bank, to the Federal Reserve, to get money so they can continue their gimmicks. I mean, here's the thing, guys. The reason why this is so efficient for them as far as the dark pools is because the transaction with repo and reverse repo only takes 1 day. In 1 day, they will cover all their tracks, but before anybody can go in and see, because they go in and log in a repo through the bank or the big broker, financial institution, whatever it is that is doing the repo and reverse repo with the Federal Reserve. And it happens on a Thursday, for example. And then on Friday, those big entities go back to the Federal Reserve, give them back money, and get their positions back and give it back to the, funnel it through to the rightful owners of that garbage. So the same synthetics, the same whatever it is, it's been flowing and flipping and cycling back and forth originally from the original people, which is the brokers who are doing this, and eventually it's going to go back to them. And when the feds are saying, obviously, that we're going to stop pumping money in the market and we're going to start unloading our spreadsheet, guess what? The Fed made sure that they are not holding to any of that garbage, toxic garbage. All these guys are holding still onto this shit. Guess what they're doing? What they've been doing for now a year and a half is trying to play the gimmicks and the media to get you to, hey, get out of your position. This thing is never squeezing. Let's see, what else? Oh, the guy that you were following, he turned out to be a sex offender, or you know who I'm referring to, but hopefully that's not the allegation. I don't know. I'm just bringing out to you guys what their plan is, because at the end of the day, when it's time to meet this, these guys have to answer to all of that. And the only way that they can continue to get money for all this, just to lessen the number of people on this train that is coming full speed toward them, is by going through the dark pools and getting money through the repo and reverse repo transactions so that they can keep maintaining their portfolio from going margined. That's it. But now the Fed stops that. The banks stop giving them money. And in return, the banks are going to give them that margin and say, hey, you have to put money to avoid this margin. The guy says, okay, I don't have money. You remember the good old days? Take care of me, bro. And the bank says, yeah, the good old days were the good old days. We're not in those days no more now. I don't have money myself to give to you, because you saw how, if I'm giving you guys so much so quick, it's because I'm very emotional. I want to give you guys anything I possibly can have. So I'm not going to be cheap when it comes to giving info to anyone, to any of you guys, especially the community. So the banks, and as you can see now, they've raised their interest rates on mortgages now. It's a 4% higher, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Wait till you see that the rest of that iceberg, and see how big it is, and see then if it will drown the Titanic or anyone else. Let's see. Alan, no, Pabloco, how do you feel about HYMC move and the share dilution? Well, I just answered that earlier, Pabloco, and I'll just do it again for you. I told you that that stock was something that was presented. Really, here you go. As far as for what it means for AMC, that's for us to find out down the line, because obviously they didn't invest into that stock and that company with a billionaire, a self-made billionaire, Sprout, out of nowhere just to take a loss. I could see why if it was just AMC by itself, I would be really sus. But that guy is not in it to lose money. He's an individual. He don't care about apes. He don't care about any of us. He don't care about nothing. He's very known for the precious metals and all that stuff, and he sees that investment for him is going to turn around for him. But the real question here is, how long are you willing to hold it? Because that guy and AMC did not invest 22% in that company so they can turn around within a week or two or a month to unload it or break that partnership. You know what I'm saying? That's what they did. If they see value in it, that means down the line they see that. And I can humbly say to you that they just see where the market and the globe is going to go down to, and what kind of situation the globe is going to be in, and precious metals and all those important resources like the oils and everything. We just seen the beginning of it. Wait till if this war continues to go on, and let's say it leads to even more and more troubles and problems and conflicts throughout the rest of the globe, you're just seeing the beginning of it. You're going to see gold at a much different price. You're going to see oil at a way different price. And you're going to see the important things that we really need at a completely different price as well. Um, it just comes down to the full answer to that question was a little more. Sorry, I just wanted to give you the all around. I owe it to all of you, but I can come back and tell you that it just comes down to how long are you willing to hold it, because this thing could take a very long time before you can see any turnarounds, and it also depends on your entry point. Future, I think halts is easy to deal with. It's timing option plays I find hard. Oh, okay. So here's the thing, future. Option plays normally the safest, and again, I'm not a financial advisor, neither that this is financial advice, guys. The safest way to normally play options is on the time of the run up, okay? Because you know that at that moment, obviously, you have conviction and all the conviction you need for the run up. Now, most people, of course, want to take advantage of the cheap value of options when the stock is really down, like these times that we're going through right now, which is perfect. Now, here's the thing. On a squeeze play, my only advice is be careful with playing short-term options. That's the only advice I'll give you on that, because I can't legally say anything more. I would love to say a lot more, guys, but that's what I like to say. Be careful with the short-term option plays, because again, the extrinsic value into options, which is time, is against you in this case. The more that the hedge funds, you see how they hedge their volume and they hedge their price of the stock, you're not, because every second is ticking. You're losing value in your option as long as it's not within the money, especially if you get into a position that is way out of the money. Then it's already a 90% chance that it's going to lose. In fact, probably 99% chance that it's going to lose. If you're going to do it for a daily trading options, then that's a little different story, because at that point, my advice will be get in low and get out high on a daily trade basis. But I'm laughing because I got to watch everything I'm saying. But as far as the overall option market, you have to watch out from short-term option plays. Let's see. Dinette, how are you doing? Hopefully, future, by the way, hopefully that answered your question. If not, please come back in the comments. CNBC is saying that all of the excitement of the meme stocks is dying, trying their best to shake you out, which means it is the best time to buy. Stay strong. We are closer to MOS. Dinette, you are a YouTube influencer officially. With what that statement that you just mentioned is extremely crucial, because when you see that, normally you are very, very close, because that's exactly the things that happened back in January. I was there then and I seen it, and it happened. The same thing happened also in June, and I was there then and I took advantage. I didn't take as much advantage back in January because it was the first run up and with that GameStop craze, but in June I made sure that I took a complete advantage of that one, because I was like, I've seen this pattern before and it's happening all over again. Pabloco, I'll watch it back, no worries. Appreciate it. Alan, get 4 months minimum on calls in my opinion. Good advice. Future, yeah, I got what you were saying. Well, I'm glad then. That's the most important thing. I'm glad too, Dinette. Thank you so much. Alan, mainstream media always tells us the opposite, especially CNBC. Yeah, it really is. Because you got to remember, guys, who really controls, who owns these platforms? If I wasn't mistaken, I remember I think it was Ken Griffin's wife have like a job, or she owns something in CNBC. If I'm not mistaken, I remember that. if she's not, someone else that within their circle is. Um, at the end of the day, whoever owns these media stations, it's not a retail investor. It's not one of the apes. Let's just put it that way. So that means it's in their best interest to, you know, put out all that negative crap mainstream. So yeah, so tell me guys, did you guys understand what I was saying with the how the whole situation is being set up from the beginning? And with if you understand that, then you could understand why this whole process has been taking this long to continue going. I've explained to you in this live or in those 6 videos that I uploaded yesterday how these guys were planning to prolong this. What did they do? How they were able to take money, like orders that you're paying to your broker, to pay out the broker in that case, because the orders were not going through to the lit exchange. It was going through the dark pool, which benefited the market maker and those guys because they were able to somehow, again, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is my opinion, guys. So they were able to funnel that stuff into index funds, similar to the IWM, the Russell 2000, and we're able to put all these things into little folders and squeeze them in with big financial institutions and banks to go the very next day to the Federal Reserve to get money and loans, which is the repo and reverse repo. And eventually that got them much more money, continued basically their life. It's kind of like a patient on dialysis. They need to be on that machine, on that life support and that filtering machine so that they can continue to live. The moment that they're off of it is the moment that their time starts ticking to go away and die. So this is what's happening. We break that dark pool bridge, and simply by not killing the dark pools, because we need them for the rest of the market, of course, but breaking the bridge of them funneling those orders through the dark pool so that they can get more money to keep us down. When that gets stopped and they have to report what's in those folders and what's in those dark pools transactions, whew, just hold your breath. I I have something to also tell you guys, just so to make you guys feel a whole lot better about now you feel bad or down, you've been down for a while, but I'll tell you something that will make you feel a whole lot better. Just wait a second. Um, Dinette, or hold on, before Dinette, it was Lucky Penny. How's it going, Lucky? Um, Probably AA bought a gold mine to tell us shareholders without telling us that we literally have a gold mine in AMC stock. Um, yeah, I think there would have been a couple more ways to more efficiently do that. But if he did that, then he's a real ape for sure. um, how long are your long-term option play? 3 months, 6 months, 1 year. Okay, so the net, it depends on the play. Um, on these squeeze plays, then it's you're talking about, for me personally, I'm probably looking at anything above 6 months for sure, uh, because you just don't know when all these regulations, because so much is involved in it. You have the SEC that have to stop this guy, and when this guy finally gets stopped from doing what he's doing illegally, then we finally can have a chance at our run up. Um, and don't forget, guys, this Friday we closed like fairly well. I did post in one of those videos the numbers that we needed to close up above it to inflict some damage to them. And one of those numbers on the AMC, I said if it closes above 1560, that they will hurt. I would prefer it to be 1650 so we can get majority of those options in the money. But instead, what happened, that it closed at 1580, I believe. And we got one of those. The second most option, like that 15 and a half option, strike call, was the second highest on the list of options, and they couldn't drop it underneath that. So therefore, they will have to answer to that on Monday and Tuesday. And this is easily why you also seen a small little 1.5%, almost 3% before it dropped a little bit in the aftermarket action on AMC. A lot of YouTubers can't explain all this stuff to you. I can. Let's see. Pabloco. Pabloco, I love your name. Just so we could keep that out there. And it seems like all of the small caps are starting to run again, such as bbig, as if the cycle is starting up. Yes, so Pabloco, I'm really big into bbig, like bbig and bbig, and I've been advocating for it when a lot of other YouTubers are just centric on one thing. I'm an investor. Yes, AMC is the biggest thing for me. But you have to see first, GameStop was the one and only thing like what people were looking at. So the people on GameStop missed out on AMC. The people were just only GameStop loyals. They missed out on AMC. Guess what? Your homeboy here didn't, because when I see the potential, you have to act on it. I've seen that. It was so easy to tell that after GameStop that the second thing that was going to run was AMC, at least have a small little run. And that's simply because that was the only stock at that time that whoever couldn't get into GameStop at those high prices or missed the train, the second best thing at that time back then was AMC. So it garnered a lot more interest throughout the time because many more people jumped in. And their whole idea was to try to keep AMC above the $50 and the $60 range. So not just any average Joe can jump in and make a position in AMC to make it worse for them down the line when they have to answer to it. So why am I so big on bbig? Because it's literally on that list for me personally, it's third as far as like in the rankings. Did you see my community post that I put on my page? How many stocks were failure to deliver from just the end of January to the it was the mid of February to the beginning of March. Yeah, it was like only for 3 week span. It was like 23 million bbig FTDs to AMC. I think it was like 9 or 8 million. GameStop's was much less, of course. So like seeing those numbers, you can't help. For me personally, I'm speaking, guys, I'm not influencing anyone or anything. I'm just speaking on my behavior and how I deal with things. When I saw that stuff, it's so easy to me to see that. And when you dig deep into bbig, I mean, I've always been saying I want to make a bbig video just specifically for bbig, but simply I can dwindle it down for you. And you just got to look at the fact that the company has a lot of great fundamentals. Yes, the board is not the most friendly and the best as far as how they go about things and deal with things. You guys would love Adam Aaron. The whole Adam Aaron will look like a Superman or a hero compared to that company's board or CEO, Lisa. But you can't screw up. You can't throw away the fact that they have great fundamentals and the fact that that spinoff that they have coming up with Tide, and they have to separate the companies, and for a good reason, because the bbig Vinco Ventures platform is based in New York, Fairmont or Fairpoint, New York. So the regulations there are different. In order for them to do a spinoff and give off tax-free cryptides to their investors, they had to get separated, and they had Tide or Cryptide open up its registration in the state of Delaware, which is the state and the only state so far that allows blockchain trading, and it's so friendly with its laws. And you literally like it's known for its bylaws. So no crap or hedge fund manipulation could happen with that blockchain. So if Cryptide goes on the blockchain, it's a no-brainer to where this thing will take off to. But prior to that, you guys got to also remember, giving out dividends and a spinoff are two different things. Dividends They come out obviously when the company makes money. They give out whatever that on that particular day. They give you back money as well, and that percent will be, advertised on their platform. But a spinoff is completely different because that amount comes out from the parent company's value. So if, let's say, for example, they want to give out, if the price of each cryptide is going to be $5, that is going to come out of BBIG's ticker symbol value, because they're giving out this. For each 10 BBIGs, you get one cryptide, and that spinoff, in order for it to be tax-free, it has to be a spinoff, and that's how it works. Feel free to do a lot more DD on that. I'm just giving you the face value. Let's see. Future. Yeah, that would be true if he bought a gold mine just to tell us. Yeah, right. Alan, I've only been trading for 2 years. The first thing I noticed is how they try to control their shorted stocks and put out hit pieces on stocks that they're shorting on. Hindenburg did a cold article on SOS. Oh man, don't even get me started on SOS. That's SOS is one of the stocks that I've lost on, simply because it and this was like about 6 months ago. It was time for its run up. Unfortunately, the run up didn't happen, similar to what we're going through with this stuff. So I cashed out quick. I have a 20% rule. So if my investment goes down to 20%, I stop loss it there. I do not stay within to go that. Anyone that tells you they don't lose or they don't never lost on an investment or any of that stuff, they're lying to you. Straight up. That's it. End of story. Sheen Dials. Welcome to the chat, Sheen. 1604 with all-time high, with after hours. Oh, you're referring to AMC? Then yes, you're correct. HYMC, tinfoil hat theory, I heard. The site also has loads of silver-backed crypto, silver-backed gorilla. Yeah, Pabloco, you were listening to Pantheon, I believe, tinfoil hat theory, and those, I think it was called the SOC group that was bringing that. It was a very interesting theory for sure. Shout out to Pantheon, guys. Pantheon, if you're familiar with him, you are. If you're not, Pantheon is, I literally called him the DD King, because this guy goes and comes back to you with literally like an entourage of information about that topic or that subject, and you really need to look nowhere else after you get whatever that topic is about. If you get it, you don't need to look anywhere else. And also, big shout out to the Mascalorian. The guy is amazing. I spoke to him many times on the phone before we did the live. Great personality. He is a genuine person, guys. So for those of you out there who think like, oh, that's just what he's presenting, no, I spoke to him on a personal level. And the first phone call I had with him, believe it or not, was more than an hour long. So I read people well, and I'm telling you, this is a good person. And he's in it just like you are. He's in the front lines for sure. Also, Frankie Muhammad is a very, very, very good one. You guys see that, I shout him out a lot. He shouts me out a lot as well. Mutual respect. I'm still to do a live, and I love, by the way, oh yeah, Tony DeNaro, very knowledgeable guy. I love his demeanor on things. I'm yet to do a live or any work with CSI, even though that was the first person I've ever reached out to when I started this channel. And, he said that he would look forward in the near term to do some lives together, and I look forward to it. Alan, I'm going to buy some BBIG tomorrow. Hey, I'm not going to tell you to buy or not to buy, but it's an amazing company. Alan says silver-backed crypto is a great idea. Yeah, of course. Alan, I don't know what you have said in that message that they restricted it, but it must have been Alan for an Alan way of doing things. Let's see. Did you listen to GME earning call? What were your thoughts? Okay, So I've said this in my videos previously, and even said it on the live stream with the Macedonians live stream, that when I played my straddle options on that, and literally 5 days or 4 days prior to that earnings call, it dropped heavily, and it was a very good call. So I cashed out those options, those straddles. It gave me the opportunity to up my position in GME. So I used the entity itself to produce more shares from the entity itself as well, without having to ever sell any of my shares, because we do know what it means when you sell your shares on a squeeze play. That helps them more than us. So the idea behind GME is doing it so fundamentally, and the shorts know that their time is really numbered. It's up to them whether to do this now and to end this, or to wait, specifically for GME's case, or wait until 2023 when GME is fully finalized with all their NFT work, loop rank, the company is profitable again, everything is moving forward. And Ryan Cohen has been saying for a long time, you got to remember, guys, that he's been saying that him and the board are not going to announce their strategy about this stuff, because they don't want anybody else to copy or take out their way of going about things. So have he been doing great for the company? Absolutely. Is he going to take GME to the promised land? Without a doubt. I personally think that if this don't happen on its own from the people that are shorting it within this time frame, it will organically do its thing into 2023, hands down, like on its own, and force them, similar to the overstock situation, in a way. So hopefully that answers that, Dinette. Gil, Harshan Gill, welcome to the chat. If my broker app doesn't have pre and aftermarket trading, will I be safe during the squeeze? Okay. Here's the thing. If they don't have it, I'm not going to say you should consider changing to one that does, but here's the thing. I will tell you, in case you think about that option, I will tell you something. If you try to trade or switch over to another broker, just bear with me here. Even if you try to transfer half or a certain percent or a certain amount of your portfolio, just so you would know, both of your brokers will be down until the transfer happens completely. So a lot of people that I know that went ahead and thought that they could be more safe that way by transferring 20 or 50% of their portfolio to another broker, unfortunately for them, their original broker had them under a suspension until the process finishes, and the second one as well that they are transferring to. So whether you're transferring your whole portfolio or half or a certain amount, it will also, both of them will be suspended for the duration of this transfer. Although if you don't transfer the whole portfolio, it takes less days, 3 to 4 business days. Now, here's the thing. In the aftermarkets or the pre-markets, you're going to have obviously the crazy swings up and crazy like spikes up. In the market time, you're going to have, obviously the price is not going to go back to $10 or $15. If in the pre-market or the after hours, it was at let's just give a hypothetical situation here. If we are up at, let's say, $2,000 a share in the aftermarket or in the pre-market, that does not mean that when the market opens, it's going to go all the way back down to 15 and then do the same thing over again. Yeah, it might not be at 2,000. It could probably be down to 1,200 or 1,300, 1,100, something like that, in those ranges. But the most important thing is that you will still be having the stock way higher than the $15 range if it squeezes, obviously, as we expect it to do so. So hopefully that answered the question, brother. Samira, welcome to the chat, Samira. Do you think AMC shall be squeezing soon? I wholeheartedly feel like it needs to happen I'm looking at that April 18th situation with the ATSs and the SEC trying to get them to report everything that they're doing, because to me that's the most important thing. All the other stuff, trust me, it's not as important as you might think. The most important thing always is to find the place that they do the crime in, because if you take away their location of committing the crime, then they can no longer do it. That's it. They have to search for another way, and there's no other way, because either way, the Federal Reserve itself is announcing that it already announced that it will stop all this nonsense and is going to raise its hikes. Now, if the Fed raises the hikes but does not stop the repo and reverse repo limit, and they don't start unloading their positions, then obviously that right there will tell you, that's a sign for me to tell me that they, over this whole past year and a half almost, they've been funneling this money back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Obviously you've seen the number of repo and reverse repo rising and rising higher and higher, and eventually they did not, like at the end they come to it now, they raise the hikes, but they don't stop the amounts, or they don't unload their positions as well. So therefore now it looks like foul play, and that means they've been trying to give money to these people. But the one thing that kills that theory is you see those hedge funds are reaching out to whatever other companies to try to get money. Please, please help me out. You've seen it with Trigger and you've seen it with Melvin, obviously. I mean, these guys are begging for money, guys. And these guys are the first people in the front line before the Citadels and the bigger guys are in. But when these guys are crumbled and fall, it's only a matter of time before these guys on top also follow through. Like there's no doubt about it. Like that's just how it's going to happen and how it's going to go down. A trickle down effect. Much appreciation, guys, to all of you, by the way, for subscribing to the channel and liking the video, like I said again, because it's pushing it out to more and more people, and I can see that more and more people are here with us. And I welcome all of you guys in here. If you're not a member, please consider subscribing. And I want to spread all this info that I'm giving to you guys to as many people out there. Let's see, who's the next question? Future. The problem is, in order to trade pre-market and aftermarket, you have to go to someone that uses payment for order flow. Okay. This goes back future. This goes back to why I was saying that payment for order flow, of course, it affects this time, in the short term value of the price stock moving, because obviously they're funneling it, boxing it up, and sending it to the dark pool. But that literally is insignificant when the dark pool is dealt with and no reverse repo and repo transactions are being funneled through, because those payment for order flow are transactions that you and I are buying. For example, the broker gives it to the market maker pays the broker made his money, now he's happy and satisfied, he thinks he's off the hook, but he's not until the MOAS. Then the market maker goes like, okay, I got all this junk and I need to get money so I can keep myself from getting margined, or I can keep these guys oppressed. So what do? He found a way to go ahead, since it's not regulated in the dark pool. The dark pools are not regulated. I mean, if you see my 6 videos from yesterday that I uploaded, you can go and see that ATS regulation that they've passed a couple of days ago that is due for comments by April 18th. It will tell you in there how many things are unregulated in a dark pool. I mean, it's literally like the wild west in there. So these guys, the market maker goes ahead and pumps all those garbage orders that he gets from me and you through the broker, puts them in the index funds, whether IWM, whether whatever, covers them in there and ships them with their order to the Federal Reserve to obviously get the repo and reverse repo transactions. And before the next day is over, they go back and do a reverse repo. So basically the Fed, it's only a crime that takes 1 day, 24 hours. That's all it takes. But that's all it takes for them to do all this crime that they're doing to us. This is my humble opinion, guys. It's not factual. Could be not, but that's my opinion. If it makes sense to you, I'm glad, because it made a lot of sense to me. So when that is dealt with, then payment for order flow is insignificant, because the market maker himself is not going to want to get this garbage junk. Like, they're not going to pay money, which is the payment for order flow, to get stocks that they can't get nothing out of. They can't go and get what they need out of it. You see what I'm saying? So if it's profitable, yeah, they will pay money to get that. And Griffin himself have said before, you guys can ban payment for order flow. I can care less for it because the damage has already been done from that. But the most important thing is the ATS, which is the dark pool market. And that's why it's been trying to make that regulation and pass those rules since September of 2020. They can't pass this ruling, guys. Since September of 2020, forget this March 3rd crap. Since September of 2020 and April 18th, we're gonna see what when those comments come back, when they will implement this. Because when you cut out the crime, all the other little stuff, the corner guys, the corner boys that are selling little things, if you reach for the big guy, all those guys disappear with time as on their own. Hopefully that answered a lot. Joe, what's up? Hey, what's up, bro? Lucky, great DD, your new YouTube. Well, thank you. I'm very, very humbled by this. Thank you so much, Lucky. And thank you so much, Danette, as well. Now you guys are making me blush for sure. Samir, we support you since you got good DD and smoke hookah. Yes, I'm due for smoking another hookah. I wonder how YouTube feels about that. I don't give two craps. Again, this whole thing is for me to get as many people to understand, what we're in. And once you understand what all this that I just explained a little bit ago, and I've been saying it over and over again, then you will have a much bigger knowledge on this whole situation. And then you could understand like why this thing is doing what it's doing, why it's taking this long. Why is it that we're doing and buying as much and holding as much and still the price is not moving? Instead, it's moving down because these guys can continue to do so from above with getting as much money as they need. So that's one. Oh my God, guys, I'm getting so much love. Can you imagine that moment when your most beloved person on this planet, which is my mom, comes in and goes like, here you go, son. He gives me a Starbucks Americano. No, not a paid promotion. Trust me. But yeah. And also gives me a cup of tea and milk. So I don't know which one I should go to. Write it in the comment section. Harsh Angel, where do you also see the squeeze starting in after hours or during market hours? Honestly, with that, Harsan, it doesn't necessarily need to be this or that. It could be really either. If you remember, there was one time, I think it was about 5 months ago, when AMC had a weird run up out of nowhere around 1 p.m. one time. And I can tell you why that happened, but it ran up. It was like at $30, $31 at that time. And then suddenly out of nowhere at 1 o'clock p.m., it was dead throughout the rest of the day. It ran up to $36, $38 even, and then touched the 40s in the aftermarket and then opened the next day at 41, 42. And that was like right before that Friday. Then the reason why that run up happened is because market makers seen that they needed more people to get in on options, to get more people to jump into options. They see the run up, they think it's the squeeze, captured a lot of people. Basically, they threw the net, captured a lot of fish, and then the next day on Friday they crucified the run up. But ultimately, I think it could. If my wild guess on this, I think it will happen in the market at some point, and leading into the after market, like the after hours, and that's when we'll go, because it will be least expected, like out of nowhere at 2 or 1, maybe after the repo and reverse repo transactions are held, and leading to the after market, and then people will see the real fireworks happen then. We'll see though. Pabloco, should we be leaving comments in the comment section on the registry to help push it in our favor? Yeah, why not? Of course, I definitely. Okay, so guys, I give some credit here to CSI. CSI actually came out, and literally the first person to come out and say, hey, go ahead and comment on, it was like another ruling before. Most YouTubers, including me, I'm telling you to like the news and the things that happen with those regulations and how they're passed. He's the first person to come and tell the people to go and actually act on it. And when I say act on things, because I've seen a lot of other YouTubers are saying this is not going to squeeze organically, and that's the biggest BS I've seen ever. Don't trust in that, guys. Again, it's these people, maybe because they don't understand the situation as much, so they're dealing with it emotionally. And when you do emotions out of confusion, normally the outcome is never good. Just putting it out there. But acting on it, this is the best way to act on it. The same way that the institutes or the other people are acting on it. They leave their comments as well. They send their letters. And depending on basically how many people are sending things, it plays a big role. You know, they can't just go against everybody just to please 5, 10 commenters. If there's like 1 million people who left comments in favor of this, they're not going to go with the only 4 or 5 individuals that said, yeah, we don't want this to pass, you know? So good point, Pabloco. You guys can find it on the Federal Registry. And if anybody here can please, while we're doing this, go on there and write, like, put it in the comment section here to get people. Again, it doesn't take much of your time, guys. Just like you, I remember applied for your stimulus money or any of that stuff. This is just as easy, but this is way different than stimulus money when it happens. Again, I appreciate, guys, all the people that subscribe to the channel and all the community in general. I do also appreciate everybody who's been liking the video because it's pushing it out to more and more people. Again, our goal is to get this thing to do its thing that we've been like expecting for a while. But if you're on this channel, then you would have a much greater idea rather than just hearing news. You'd have much greater understanding on the whole image. And now you know where you're at and you can make your own suggestion or make your own educated decision on the matter, seeing it from above instead of being involved in action. Better not smoking hookah. We meeting after the squeeze and smoking all day. Yeah, no, don't worry. Don't worry when it comes to that. We will all be smoking hookah. I did own a hookah bar as well. I sold it about 4 years ago. It was a great place. Maybe sometimes I'll upload some old videos and pictures. It was a great experience. I mean, I've met so many football players, basketball players, the whole Cavs team. Got pictures with Kyrie back when he was with Cleveland. Crazy times. And it was a great gig, but then I had a great offer for that place. I mean, an offer I couldn't even refuse. And, just like everything else in business, there's a climax and there is an end to everything. You can't just get married to whatever unless it's the dream of your life to be in, something big. For me, I want it to be something that I could see myself in, going out into the sunset with some sort of corporation or something that is big. But again, we're not here for me talking about me, just the opinions, and we're talking about Squeeze and AMC. Let's see. Where do you also see the squeeze starting at? Oh, okay, we're sorry, we read that. Sorry, guys. Alan, what did the SEC vote yes for? I thought that covered all the transparency. Excuse me. So yes, so when they voted, it was I think it was 3-1 because of that one lady that said no, and we all were making so much fun of her face and her looks and all that stuff then. But here's the thing, Alan, that was all referring to the transparency regulations, but there's still time to leave it for comments. So they approved the proposition, but there's still time for comments to come back similar to this ATS regulation that I'm talking to you about. And when it comes back, then it will tell you when it will be implemented. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people can say this is implemented or not, or whatever not, but remember this. Let's say that it's all about, just hypothetically, I'm going to walk you through how people fall vulnerable to letdowns. They're going to walk you through this when people like Lou or anyone else come out and say it's already passed and it's March the 3rd. people like you and everyone else will, me even, will be sitting there watching, glued to their phone or their laptop, and they're like waiting for this to pop. You think that's it, it's the third, let's pop. But nothing happens. In fact, we're almost approaching the end of the month and nothing have happened. Because ultimately, like I told you, the transparency is very important. All these things that the SEC are doing are very important. But the most important thing is that, in my humble opinion, that ATS regulation that needs to go through, because when they can see what is happening, when the SEC can attend what's going on back there, what are they trading? Who are they trading it with? How much of this is being traded? When they see that, then you don't even need any of this other stuff, because that's where all the crime is happening. I mean, I will literally scream it at the top of my lungs. Future, that was the August run up. Yep, thank you. Harshan Gill, what are your thoughts on XRP? What do you see XRP going to after lawsuit? Okay, I remember, I think Danette is in this live chat, and yeah, there she is. XRP to the moon. Yes, they have really, really, really great like blockchain technology, and they're very powerful servers. They obviously can compete with Ethereum, and look at the price point where Ethereum is and where XRP is. Now, the whole thing that's shadowing it down is this lawsuit. And you got to remember, guys, crypto in general, I believe, and I've made that very clear throughout all my videos, that is the future. That is personally where I'm moving to when the market does its thing with the squeeze. The only thing I'm waiting on is the perfect entry point, because right now I believe is all the cryptos are way, way overvalued, and that's just my opinion again on the thing. Hopefully that answered the question, brother. Pabloco, CSI wasn't set up for live until very recently. The more exposure, the better. Most of these other ones are just in a circle jerk lately. Yeah, I remember when I reached out to him, it was on Twitter. Now, I don't know if I should start pushing my like a Twitter account or not. I mean, this is enough as it goes for me, really, to be totally honest. But I remember when I reached out to CSI, it was very welcoming. He dropped through the channel a couple of times, said his two piece, liked some of the videos and agreed with them. I do the same just about all the time. And at the end of the day, I'm all ears. I'm available to whether debate or join any live to shed some more light. I mean, what I've shared with you here today. I mean, guys, how many of you that are subscribed to my channel remember how many weeks ago I've pushed out the idea of, hey, make some videos throughout the squeeze, send them to me, and so I can make videos with your permission, a video about it, like a compilation about this whole squeeze movement and everything. And magically, just not too long ago, something that is very close to it starts surfacing around the community. If you know what I'm referring to, you know what I'm referring to. Again, I don't care much about what, but I personally just want to get all the info out to the rest of the community, because there's a lot of confusion. Now, who does it come out of? Would love it to come out from me, but if it comes out from someone else that saw my channel and gave it throughout their platform to someone else, I'm all for it. I don't care much, as long as their real purpose is met. Future, I don't know also what you said, like Alan earlier, and I don't know why YouTube already restricted your message, but I bet it's so hilarious. Can you tell me why AMC runs with the China index, and what is the correlation between America's debt and China running together? Okay, this is a very, very, very deep and good question, Future. So here's the thing. Let's break it down. Can you tell me why AMC runs with China index? It just happens that it's running, at the same time. You also got to leave out the idea that, remember, in my videos I've posted that is such thing outside the US where debt is being sold. So there's a lot of debt that is being sold, you know, globally, from here, or that is bought from there to here. And that's why you saw the Evergrande situation happening with some investment groups here. Let's just not mention anyone here, so we can keep this channel alive. And they purchased a lot of things from there, and they came back and went to big banks here and said, hey, I have collateral, here's what it is, I have a lot of notes from this, the shining armor of the Chinese, uh, you know uh, the Chinese economy. And they went ahead and gave them huge loans based on that. But when Evergrande flipped belly up, all that collateral became useless, nothing. So the big bank had to basically come out after this person and tell him, hey, give me my money back, you don't have collateral on hand. But most likely that bank, and starts with gold, they were probably working something out with the other major guy that brought them that junk, and said at the end of the day, hey, if you don't help me, you don't get your money back, I can't get your money back, it's gone, it's in this rabbit hole now. So I'm pretty sure something along that line happened. Now, what was the rest of it? And yeah, the correlation between the American debt and the Chinese and China running together is literally because they're buying each other's debts, and most of it is being sold to China. Pabloco, I believe China owns a lot of American debt. You're, I agree with that. Alan, do you have a Twitter? I do, but I had one that was under the name of Doge Man, because I was in the Doge movement, back way long time ago, back when the pandemic was still going on. I cashed out of it in January of 2021, because who in their right mind wouldn't? Um, Actually, let me take that back. I know a lot of people did not back then. They literally were waiting for that dollar or $5 dream, which most likely they're still holding for that to come. But yeah, the second one is called AB Investments. I have not pushed it. I think there's only like 7 or 6 people. I just created that thing like a few weeks ago. So yeah, feel free to look for it. It's the same thing as AB Investments. Alan, John Wick sniping. Sniping. Danette, I was so close to take the video challenge myself, just not brave enough to do it yet. One day soon. Um, Listen, guys, if you feel like, okay, Danette, I obviously want to push you to do this, almost to do this, because here's the thing. I can accept anything that anyone can say about why not do something, except this part where just not brave enough to do it. Don't ever let fear or being uncomfortable be the main factor of why, or be getting in the way of your way to stop doing something that you don't know it could make you feel like a completely different person. So jump off that cliff. I support you 100% to go ahead. In fact, I challenge you now personally to go ahead and jump off and see what kind of person, or see what comes within that with the feeling, with whatever comes within that venture. So I encourage you, and I please want you to do it. Personally, I want you to do it. Let's see. Let me take a little break. I'm explaining all that kind of stuff, and let's take more questions. Who has more questions here, guys? And guys, feel free to share this on other platforms. Of course, I don't want anybody to spam nobody's platform, but at the end of the day, I do want the most amount of people that we can push this information to. That's how we could help the whole movement overall. He said, no, public speaking is my biggest fear. Don't think about the public, okay? The best thing I can tell you, like I used to be when at some point in my life before I graduated college, I remember, um, and actually before I left high school, I used to be like, same thing, like, what are they looking at? What are they gonna think? Are they gonna be making fun or whatever? But you gotta remember this: everybody lives and dies only once. That's it, as far as we know. No one has come back to tell us no, there's a second one. Um, so when you die, who's like everything else that you have stored or you went through in your life dies with you. And it's a beautiful thing. That's just life. Death comes for everyone. So are you gonna die with a lot of regrets held in or fears, or are you gonna die free, like filtered completely, nothing, no filters, like just go out and do it. Don't do it for the public. You're doing it for yourself, and see how many more people you encourage along the way of doing so. You're not the only one that feels the way you feel, Danette. I didn't want to tell you that. I was there, and the only way I was able to get over that was to jump right in it. I didn't care about what the public was going to say. At the end of the day, are they going to prevent my death? Are they going to prevent my bills from coming? No. Who cares? Are they even going to remember you forever? No, they're not. Everybody gets forgotten, guys. Uh, no matter who you are. Do it for yourself. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. Just think of that. Harshan Gill, do you think AMC will squeeze this month? If not, which month? Oh, okay. Well, of course, in this case, like I said to you guys, like I mean, right now we have the biggest chance out of all the other chances, and the time window is from now until, my opinion, is until the Mayish, maybe June. That's it. Besides that, if those regulations, especially with the ATS, is kicked down the road longer, then I can see it going down longer than that. But right now is the most suitable time and amazing time, because the money is drying up for them, and they are not being able to get money if the feds don't go back on their repo and reverse repo transaction. Because if their repo and reverse repo stays at the rate that is in, nothing is going to happen. Like, we can't force nothing. Clearly, you've seen we've been buying and holding for over a year and a half. It didn't push the stock down to pennies, which is good. That's why holding is great. But it did not also push the stock to the squeeze levels that we've been anxiously waiting for. So the crime, again, to suppress us has been all in the dark pool. When that is dealt with, you will have a squeeze in no time. Hopefully that answers it, Arshan. Thanks for the support. Means a lot. Yes, it means a lot. And you mean a lot to me, Danette, yourself as well. You've been one of the first few members of this channel, and you, along with Alan, and remember Tony, and there's so many more, Ham. So a big shout out to all of you guys, the original OGs, and for the rest of the community as well. Let's see. Lucky Penny, you are spot on. Okay, my ape fam, take care and good night to the moon and beyond. Much love. Thank you so much, number 7. And to the moon and even beyond. Yes, let's go to whatever a different galaxy with that. Pablo Rico's team is really pushing for some movement this week. Yeah. Again, like I've said, like this is the most crucial time now, of course, especially with them investigating in that. But like I said, keep your eye on this, because I don't want, like, you don't want to be led. Like, for example, I will never lead my community like many other YouTubers, not obviously all, many other YouTubers do. They give you a time, and when it doesn't come to fruition, they come back, instead of admitting that they were, the strategy was wrong, or they misread it or whatnot. They don't want to lose their ego, so therefore they come back and say, oh, you just got screwed, or you just got this, and blame it on everything else. No, I'm gonna make it clear once again. Yes, the SEC is looking. Yes, RICO is looking. Yes, they're investigating. DOJ, everybody's on top of them. But if no one has access to go and investigate dark pool action, then forgive me for what I'm about to say, guys. They're not gonna find much in the files of these hedge funds. I mean, you, for God's sake, you've seen that fire that burned that whole warehouse that is apparently connected to TD Ameritrade and all that saga that happened a month ago. So a month and a half ago. So you got to remember, these guys know how to cover their tracks. What I care about the most is where they do their daily crime, the thing that they cannot cover. It's all in the dark pool. They can, if they go in there and they have access to go in there, they can send me and a couple of idiots from the street to just go in. If they give us clearance to go and search the dark pool, I guarantee you this whole squeeze will be over. This whole thing will be over within a week's time. They might honestly, like Pabloco, like, and for all of you guys, they might, like, okay, find some hedge funds doing some swaps and some things like that, but and they will get fines out of it and all that stuff, similar to like that report that the SEC did, saying that back in January GameStop did not squeeze and there was no wrongdoing. Well, of course, they couldn't find it in the regular papers that was given to them from the brokers and from market maker and from the GameStop company. But if they look to see where the real crime is happening, it's all in the dark pool. If they look in there, they have the regulations to go look in there, then it's a different story, because you will find all the mess that's happening all in there. Let's see. Harshan says, how will the dark pool get shut down, and who will shut it down? Okay, so we don't want the dark pool to get shut down. Let's get that straight, guys. The dark pool is like, what is the coexistence of the ATS system? That's the other. The dark pool is important because you get all your like all those big institutions when they want to buy, let's say, or sell a big position in whatever company, not just necessarily AMC or GameStop. In order for them not to destroy the market, and I put this in my 6 videos, and maybe you could dive deeper in those after this at your own convenience, in the 6 videos I uploaded from yesterday. So those, when they when they jump in, I literally just almost lost my train of thoughts just to talk about the 6 videos. But when those companies come in to try to dump that position or buy a big position, if they were doing it straight on the the lit market, then they will benefit from controlling and crashing the market left and right on a daily basis. The only way that they cannot influence the price of a stock is through the dark pool, which is again a good thing. Where the dark pool becomes the bad thing is when retail is involved in dark pool. We're not supposed to be in there. So the powers that are out there somehow took our orders through the payment for order flow. So the brokers that we're buying from, or the people used to buy from, if you're not with any of the payment for order flow brokers, they used to get paid to give that info out. So that was their benefit from doing that crime. They got their money. Okay. Now the crap is all with the market maker. The market maker needs to get rid of all this. They can't put it on the lit exchange. What are they doing? They're boxing all of them up, putting them up in folders, sending them out, in index funds and all that kind of stuff, in ETFs, straight to the bigger financial institutions or the banks that are going to the feds that same day to get repo, which is basically loan money, and then parking those assets with the Federal Reserve until the next day when they come back to return the money with a little fee, so that the Federal Reserve made their money and then get their positions back. Banks come back, give their positions back to whoever they belong to, and they made their money. So over in that one day, when you see those little stocks that happen out of nowhere, remember I was warning you this weeks ago, before any of your other YouTuber came out to say that, even before Lou came out and said, be careful from the shiny stocks weeks ago. I was telling you that you're going to start seeing stocks that come out of nowhere, pump and dump. Why is that good for them? Or how does that fall in their little scheme? Is because that money they took, they used it to pump a stock. They made so much money, they dump it. They take that money, they pay the bank or the bigger financial institution that gave them that loan, that their loan money back. They give them back a little more fee on it. That basically kind of like, here, thank you for doing business. They paid off the feds because the Fed makes back their percent on the reverse repo transaction, and everybody lives to fight another day. This is basically, I'm breaking it down to you all in one talk. If it's a little more complicated, please, I can go more on and on and on it, but I feel like I broke it down step by step to see that. So when you look at all that image, you will see that payment for order flow is a problem, but what is the bigger problem? The reverse repo and repo transactions. But how are they able to get to that? How are they able to get to the money bank, which is the Feds? How are they able to utilize the Feds money to keep us down? Because that's the only thing that is keeping us down, is their ability of keep getting money from there. The only middle guy or bridge is the dark pool. So if the SEC goes in, passes this regulation, and they can go in and see what is being passed in those dark pools, whether government securities or regular stock, like the ones that we're holding, and see it, then these guys can't no longer bring all this junk to use it as a way or as something valuable to get loans on, like, or collateral to get loans on from the Fed. And when that stops, then do you know how much they're over leveraged on their positions? So hopefully that broke it down even more to you guys on how everybody benefits from this disgusting system that they have going. The broker benefits from payment for order flow. That's his tip. Market maker benefits from getting loan money from the bank, but then gets that money to pump and dump stocks so that that's his money to continue growing his wealth. The bank makes money on, after they do the repo, they give out to this guy, the market maker or the middle guy. Then this guy pays them back. So that's what the bank makes. The Fed overall makes also the little percent, I think it's anywhere between 0.3 to 3.3% back. So if they gave out 160 billion to just one counterparty, do you know by the next day when they make just 0.5% on that, do you know how much money they just made in one day without doing anything? That's how everybody's benefiting. And who's the ultimate loser in this case? Us. But we're doing our thing. We're buying and holding, and we're keeping them under leverage. This guy can no longer do anything if that middle bridge is broken. And when that is broken, then the floodgates are going to come through. It's like a broken dam. We're going to just like drown everybody behind that dam. And it's going to be everyone that is involved. You will see. Fact check me when this thing goes down and it happens. Come back and say, I would love for you to come back and say, hey, you broke down this whole process. And while everyone was giving out news and reading articles to you and telling you like me and vote for me and whatever not, remember that you heard it here first. And who knows, maybe it'll turn into another challenge from some other YouTuber out there that will basically take all this and, give it out to everyone else. Hopefully this made any sense to you guys. Pablo, apparently there were 2 warehouses burnt down. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. They should limit the market share for all dark pool like in Canada, which is less than 10%, USA 90 to 95% per GG. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Danette. But also at the same time, the most important thing is for them to give the power to the sheriff in this case, which is the SEC, to at any time and in any moment at will be able to access those dark pools and see what is being done. And even if they're not accessing it, they are to get full reports from all those dark pools and what they're trading and what is happening between point A to point B. And that's what that regulation out of the ATS on the Federal Register is trying to make happen. Future will. Everybody put their money to make sure there's change. What if no change comes and no squeeze comes? Any idea what retail should do? Okay, here's the thing. The only way, future, in my humble opinion, I'm not a financial advisor, the only way that retail loses on this is if retail gives up on this. Hopefully that can make any sense, because when everybody sells their positions, then there's nothing else to fight for anymore. There's no crime. Where's the crime? Nobody's holding anything. You see what I'm saying? And then that way they can take all those shares and suppress all the synthetics that they have created all along this whole movement, and like nothing ever happened. So if we continue doing our thing and holding, there's no way this thing could lose, because at worst, this thing is worth way far than 15 bucks. Future Whale said, okay, actually, Charlie's vid's been saying this. He started telling everybody this last year, but it's good you tell everybody too. I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. So Charlie is I've mentioned in one of my videos, I think. Yeah, I think it was one of the ones from yesterday or anything. He's a very great person that covers his only thing that he does is he covers and deeply covers regulations that are being passed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad that he's the one and only other person that is covering that for me. What I do, guys, and not again, like I respect the hell out of Charlie, but I've seen him take on that other form where he's basically addressing his own personal needs by creating that community thing, I think, that he created, and now they're all on Discord. And it just rubs me the wrong way that that you limit this or try to make money out of this, when you totally should easily know that if you're very successful on your own, you don't need to make the very own people that are following you looking for answers for this thing and support. You don't need to milk them for the money you need to make. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I agree with his DD. He's a very smart guy. He strictly is like a regulations guy, but it just rubbed me the wrong way. The fact that he, is just doing Discord and, making money out of it and charging people. Again, to me, that's just not how I'm bred. So it could be fine with a lot of people. It's just not fine by me. So, again, nothing against the guy or his way of thinking. It's just that idea of making money off of your own community is doesn't rub well much with me. But the most important thing is I do appreciate you, Future, and I appreciate Charlie as well. Pavloko, but all Canadian orders trading American stocks are sent over to American counterparts. Good one, Pavloko. Charlie is very GME centric. Also, he bailed on AMC. Okay, so here's the thing. In a way, you can't blame the guy for that part, because again, he's been in GME and he was one of the people in that crowd that started with GME, so AMC kind of came along after, and him seeing, I think his main argument was the fact that AMC has a huge flow, and it's just not something that he wanted to be in. He could see it being dwindled down throughout the time. But again, that's his opinion on things, and that's why I said that he was very good at reading regulations and deciphering them and having the patience to read 500 page document. But as far as when it comes to the trading, of course, personally, for me, I have some of my own doubts with that. And maybe that's why he created this whole Discord, to make money off of that, because whatever on his own, maybe it was just not as successful. But yeah, you can't blame him as far as being in GME, because again, if you're in GME, you're indirectly in AMC. If you're in AMC, you're indirectly in GME, because they both are in the same bandwagon. So is the other meme stocks, as long as their investors don't abandon the ship on it, Let's see. Future Whale, yeah, you explained things a lot better. I'm so glad this is the case. Thank you so much, Future. Again, no pun intended against Charlie or any other YouTuber. This is bigger than me and any of them, or YouTube in general. This is about this movement for the whole community. When one of us parties, when this things take off, is equivalent to everyone else partying when this thing takes off. So one for all for one. That's ultimately my slogan in this whole thing. Um, Pantheon, what's going down, AB? Thank you for streaming. Hey, what's going on, Pantheon? Uh, miss you and the rest of the gang. How's your Saturday going? I did not intend on a 2 hour plus stream, I swear, but this time flies by so freaking fast. This community is amazing, and so is everyone else that's out there in the rest of the community. So soon enough, I'm gonna go meet the guys to play some cards, smoke some hookah. I know Samira would love to join something like that. So whenever you're in the Cincinnati area, holla at your boy. We have a lot of that. So uh, Saturday's been going okay, just chilling with the missus. Well, please send my hellos and everything to the missus. Hopefully you and the family are having a wonderful Saturday, and hopefully you guys will always have amazing days ahead. Nothing but greatness ahead, hopefully. Hopefully anything bad that happened in your life, hopefully it's all in the past and nothing else but greatness moving forward. Um, Vincent, what's up, Vincent? Welcome to the chat. Um, Go NMSU ages. How many people, how many of you 3%ers out there are still perfect on your brackets, by the way? This is crazy. Whoever picked Iowa, I have no idea how you would pick Iowa, but go ahead, tell me in the comments section. And feel free, guys. We don't have to stick with that topic for a while. We can continue. If you have any other questions about this squeeze, if you have any questions about any other stock, I mean, one day I could literally possibly like get on here and possibly show you guys just screenshots of the amount of trades I've done in possibly like in 2021. And when I say to you that if I have not come across your stock, that means it's almost very irrelevant because I literally have thousands of trades, daily trades that I have done just in this last year alone in whatever stock. So this goes along with my agenda. I'm not just centric on one thing, guys. I'm the definition, what I would like to believe that I'm the definition of an actual investor. Yes, I see the potential in the squeeze. That's why I'm in it. In one basket? No, I'm in many potential squeeze plays. But as far as what I do on the day to day, of course, I have my personal business to deal with, and I have day trades to deal with. Big shout out to my brother and my amazing employee staff that I have in my businesses because they give me the enough help and amount of time to be able to do what I do here with you guys and not having to check in at the business a lot. I mean, I have a lot of angry people, especially at the restaurant, that come in and say, "Hey, where's AB?" Or whether at the cafe, they're like, "Hey, we want a cappuccino, or we want a caramel macchiato, but we want AB to make it. He hasn't been here. Where has he been at?" I've been I've been around, just been with my rest of the other family, home away from home. Uh, my bracket is busted. Not as bad as the hedgies. That's a very good one. That's comment of the day. This is a first. I'm drinking literally like espresso and tea with milk. Can you guys believe it? I know my stomach is going to be super upset soon. And I don't know why, because I don't want to upset my mom. Uh, I come from a culture, guys, where uh, it's believed that for us, that heaven is underneath your mother's feet. And the meaning of that is if you don't ever want to make your mother upset or any of that, you always want to be happy. If you're thinking about going to heaven, if you're a person of belief, especially from my culture, you would know that your first and foremost step to get to that or to get to heaven is through your mother. So mothers are the most important thing for us in our culture. So I'm here drinking coffee, espresso, and I'm drinking tea with milk that she had possibly like that she have made, and I can't turn one back like her tea. I can't bring it back and say I didn't drink it because I drank the coffee. So I have to drink both and make sure that she has a smile on her face. God only knows what they go through for us, guys. Okay. Vincent, cheers, brother. Cheers back to you, brother. Okay, let's see. Take on XRP. We've mentioned this future a little while ago, and it was amazing. Uh, and you know, it's again, it has a huge potential. Like I said, my only thing is I'm waiting for their lawsuit and the issues with with the government to go through, and then eventually uh, wait to see where the market of the crypto market basically lies or where it falls to, because eventually I'm looking for a great entry point. Because I, like I said, throughout all my videos, crypto is the future and everything is switching to it. The fact that most of the most important companies in the world, at least some of the top 100 or 500, have already all adopted crypto, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatnot. Trust me on this. It's not financial advice, but I'll tell you this: there's no way that that crypto is not going to be the future or the near future for sure. Those huge companies affect a lot of the decision making. Take it from me here. So yeah, I'm just waiting on a great entry point and waiting to see when we MOAS. That's when I will be looking toward that a lot more, because that's what I did with Doge back then, and with you know, some of the other coins back then. I did briefly get into Shiba, and you know, it was just quick. I've seen what was happening. They treat Shiba or SHIB in this case, similar to what's happening with AMC, GameStop, and the meme stocks. I mean, they're treating cryptos as meme stocks. Same thing was happening with Doge. So when it ripped in January back then, it was a great day for me, and you know, it was just unthinkable. You know, common sense. Like I was just gonna go with it. Um, Pantheon. Hey, AB, I connected Boss Blunts with Mandalorian. Boss is supported to go on the Mandalorian tonight to discuss the executive orders and how he believes they impact the squeeze. Just heads up. Okay, well, I'll be looking forward to. Uh, Honestly, I'll be honest, Pantheon. I've not ever been hip to what's his name, Boss Blunts. I've never like heard of the person. I've never researched the person, but yeah, I'll be tuned in for sure. I'll probably be playing cards with one hand and listening, or probably have my Bluetooth and listening to this guy, and I'll be calling like, "Hey, yeah, yeah," while I'm listening to that. That's important. So any of you guys in here, uh, please uh, uh, go ahead and connect to the Mandalorian tonight and listen to what that Boss Blunts have anything to say, or what's his intake on that, because I would love to hear that, and then I will have my own spin on it, maybe tomorrow or day after. Danette, in my opinion, if you wait after the lawsuit end for XRP, it will be too late. Best time to buy is now, not financial advice. Um, Okay, I mean, you might be correct in it, but for me, like I said, everyone is like a different trader, and that's the beauty of the stock market, guys. Okay, here's one thing I want to tell you: everyone has really bad taste about the stock market because of what we're going through with this, with our beloved AMC or GameStop, or any of the other meme stocks. But best believe the stock market is the place where dreams can come true and nightmares can also come true. But this is the only place where, if you're not a drug dealer or an athlete, that you can turn into a big time player with a lot of money legally. Literally, that's the only other place. And yes, when all this corruption is dealt with, it's the place that you would definitely want to be in. Again, you don't want to be in a place where you're afraid. I don't fear the stock market. I'll be honest with you. I love the stock market because, yes, where all these gimmicks are happening with these people and they're doing all this manipulation, there's still money to be made. I mean, I proved it to you guys just a week ago with what I was talking about with GME. So if you're not making money through options, you're making money through stocks on just run-ups, depending on the time of day that you buy in. Uh, if you're not a long-term investor, you're a day trader, at the end of the day, if you dive deep in the whole market, and this is just personal advice from me to all my beloved community out there, you have to remember that if you don't get in and try to figure out all aspects or angles and understand, put in the hard work and the time in understanding all aspects of the market, if you don't do that, then you're always missing on a lot of potential gains that are out there for you, especially if you're just one-way centric. If you're just buy stock and sell stock, even that makes money. But my personal advice, jump in and learn all of it. Learn everything about the crypto market. Create your personal secret wallet, everything about Coinbase. See how it's relating to Citadel, how Citadel just partnered up with I think it was Iggy and a second company that is the parent owner company of Coinbase. This is why I see why crypto is the future for sure. This is just another approval for me to see that, hey, this thing is going down, because if all these guys are shifting to that, the most important companies in the world are shifting to this, and they have stakes in this, they're already on this. It's a no-brainer. It's a matter of time. These guys are just making their positions in this so that they can be part of the leaders with it as it goes up. Now, for me personally, everybody is different. For me personally, I have a big reason to believe that when MOAS happens, crypto is going to be dumping. And when it dumps, that's when I'll be looking forward to going from here to here, because I would want my money to be safe somewhere while the market figures out where it will land. Like, when it starts falling, I want to know where it lands. I don't want to just jump from a stock and from the squeeze and jump in other stocks, because I don't know what state the market is going to be in. Now, if everything moves perfect and there was no market-wide crash because somehow the government bails them out, like 2008, then clear, no problem. I have my list of other stocks to jump in, and no problem. I have many stocks to jump in. I just don't mention much of it here because, again, most people who are coming here, they're coming here to hear about AMC or GameStop, but probably 90% about AMC. And again, like I said, my personal advice is so that you should go ahead and try to understand every aspect of the markets, crypto markets, stock market, options market, everything. I'm not saying go and trade and learn through making mistakes, but sometimes the best lessons are through mistakes. Now, what I'm telling you is to go and try to understand the things that you just don't yet. And when you have a much more understanding level of all these things, you will literally be not afraid of the stock market anymore, because it's just like swimming. You're afraid of swim before you learn swimming. After you learn swimming, you begin to love it. Pantheon, you'll like him. Yeah, well, if you say I would like him, then I'm pretty sure I would like him. Before my phone dies, I love and adore your time and effort. We ride together, zero together if we have to. Vincent, take that to the heart, brother. And hopefully, much love until you get your phone charged. Future. Boss Blunts is cool and smart. We actually tweet info sometimes. Well, okay. Now even Future Whale is telling me. So now I'm beginning, like, there's no doubt that I would like this guy. Pantheon, what are your thoughts on the monetary reset incorporating state-sponsored cryptocurrencies? Looks like they will have enhanced exchange controls introduced between nations to manage circulation. Pantheon, there you go. This is more vindication that this is where the future lies. It's in the crypto world, because not only communities has been adopting it, we do know that many countries have already adopted it. Like I think it was what was the Spanish country? Was it El Salvador? I think it was El Salvador, where the whole nation, everybody in that nation is going crazy on their president for what he's doing, but then he bought into Bitcoin, continues to buy into Bitcoin, and authorized like a certain card to every citizen in that country, with a small amount of Bitcoin in it, just to encourage them to understand it and to move forward to it. I've seen personally, I've traveled to many other countries like Turkey. They have literally like crypto stores and machines already implemented, where we're a little bit in the US behind on things. The rest of the world is already kind of adopting all that stuff. I see personally, I see Bitcoin being the backed possibly by gold, being the global currency, possibly replacing the dollar. These are just far ahead thoughts, guys. But every coin will have its own thing. And I do believe that when regulations all go into effect, when it's all said and done, I think that many coins are going to get killed. So watch out from some of the coins that could be killed based on what regulations the governments pass. It's just by default. Um, this is why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Gala, Solana. So it's crazy. Gala especially, I'm very very bullish on. ADA is huge. They had a situation going on, and not to take much more of your time, guys, but Cardano had this little experiment in Ethiopia, and it was back in the end of 2021. I think it was in October of 2021. And I have some friends who are Habeshan, and I told them, "Hey, you're from the inside. Can you tell me what it's like over there? Because tell me what's happening with that experiment. What are they doing?" Um, and then they were like, "Hey, we hear of this, but we don't hear much." Some of them were like, "We don't hear much about it." So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna pump the brakes on that," but I have huge expectations for ADA as well. Um, Pablo, I would love to know about your methodology outside of just AMC, but that's just me. Um, I've been making it. I've been making it a very, very clear and very clear strategy, really. Um, AMC, the only difference from the rest of my strategies of what I do is, for me, first and foremost, I look at I look at patterns of that happen within the stock itself. That's just the first thing that I do. Now, after that, I'll start doing my small little research just to see what is happening with the company. What is it about? Who are they hiring? Who would they hire? Then I will look at furthermore, look at who's invested in this, and who's on board with this company. Um, and then after that, I will see what it is like. Like what is my decision going to be on it? Do I want to enter this uh, like big, or do I want to just make quick money and move on with my life like a day trade, or do I want to go really big on this and buy shares and buy options as well, so that this can balance this out in case of any crazy things happening? Um, there's many ways to skin it. Every play is different, but AMC, there's literally like it's so many opportunities on it. You just have to play it right and continue to hold. Honestly, I mean, this is in a way, this is the easiest squeeze of all time. Yes, no squeeze comes at an easy cost or quick as the investors want it, but again, you're going against crazy big and loaded guys, uh, arguably one percenters. So therefore, don't expect this whole thing to go down without a fight. Um, if you have any questions about certain stocks, or how to handle, like how I handle some other stocks, maybe I will put my experience about those stocks, similar to like SoFi, BlackBerry. Like I said, in 2021 alone, I had literally, when I was doing my taxes, I've done like, I was so amazed to know that there was thousands of trades that I've done. Let's just put it that way. Excuse me. But true blockchain crypto like Bitcoin cannot be managed by the Fed. State-sponsored crypto will be distributed ledger technology that they can shut off at any time if you support a trucker protest. See, here's the thing, Pantheon. We don't, like, personally for me, as far as I know, There is nothing more that I know that, this is going to be passed or which one is going to be not passing, as far as whether the state or the one between the countries. Now, here's the crazy thing that I would think about ultimately. For me, of course, I support what the brothers and the truckers are going through and what's going on with them. But here's the thing for me. I look as a trader, and I'll just keep it at that point, like at that side. I look at events, I look at opportunities, and I'm gonna want to benefit from it. I see what pay attention most to is the potential of whatever coin or whatever stock in this case also, and go into it at the right time and get out at the right time as well. Now you have there was a problem that I had with Bitcoin being an ETF, when they had that first ETF for Bitcoin. There's some worries for me about that because they could literally turn around and do the same thing that they were doing to AMC right now through that Bitcoin ETF. It's finally being incorporated. And we also have to agree to also possibly disagree that nothing is for sure or certain about any of the cryptos yet. So whether this gets approved, that gets approved, we don't know yet. And this is why I personally wait until more things are clear. Similarly to when the MOAS happens, most people say, are you going to go back to the market? Well, many people say no. Some people say I will never. That's it. It's one and done. For me, it's of course I'm coming back to the market. I'm just going to wait to see what it falls to and where it lies before I can pick up where it fell from. The government put forward a proposed law that will flag when you have 600 in your bank account. Things like that show they want 100% control over your money. After the MOAS, buy hard assets. Just my two cents. I'll shut up. You better not do that, Pantheon. You better never ever say shut up or whatever that you'll shut up on this channel or any other channel if I'm around. No, in fact, I want you to bring this up because why? Because you open up more eyes to other questions rather than just to AMC, guys. This is what it takes to be an investor. You have to be an all-around person. You can't just be one thing. Now, if you're just looking for a squeeze play and that's all, perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about learning the whole stock market. Here's the thing. Pantheon, I'm going to go a little deep state here, okay? Mindset. Why have the first question that I will answer here is why do we think, or why do I think that the government have not, or why crypto is still illegal in so many other regions in the world, and why it took this long for something that is so common sense to pass? Because even though it is being adopted already by so many individuals and so many corporations, but yet on a country level, like on a government level, it hasn't, because ultimately their only issue from the get-go is to know how they can tax this. Of course, the government would love to change to crypto. That's my humble opinion. They would love to change to the whole crypto scheme and change to that and change away from currencies. And that would definitely bother so many banks, because obviously banks would have almost no purpose in this case, because there's no need for a middle guy in orders. Like if you, for example, have Ethereum, there's no need for a bank, because you can literally, if I'm a importer and there's an exporter from China or Japan, and I want to buy containers of something on the Ethereum network, instead of me having to, for example, on the blockchain, like instead of having to go to a bank, put the money, it transfers maybe 3-4 business days after they clear it from here, it goes to that person, and then I have to pay the fees and whatever. Well, it's the same thing with Ethereum. It's just much faster. I set up the contract, send it to that person, they sign it, I sign it, they sign it, we on that contract we write how much is it for and all that stuff. Then when I receive my goods, I send the the Ethereum amount. It comes to them through the blockchain. It's so simple and so much faster, and it cuts out the middleman. But that's the problem for the government, because why would they want to do that and be cut out of the loop? What would their coexistence be? This is why I said this is deep state mind right now thinking. So of course they don't want to be out of the loop. They want to be the ones controlling this. Yes, of course they want to know what's in your bank, how much money you have, and crypto is a danger to them, because crypto, anybody could have a secret wallet and all they will see is numbers and letters, but they don't know who owns it. And their ultimate dream is to get the banks to become those new market of the crypto. So they change all their servers from all this stuff. This is looking down the line, guys. And ultimately, banks just switching their system from this monetary system that we have over to the crypto monetary system. And, banks will just basically be doing their own thing, just with a different system. But if they can't do that, this is why this whole thing is being prolonged. They're not going to just let some sort of blockchain or software come in and change the whole world of the monetary system of the whole world without them having any of that. Simply because governments and many, many more governments want to have power, obviously, and control over their people. And, if you want to be, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. If you want to be dominant, obviously, your currency has to be as dominant as well. So when crypto comes in and forms a big shape of fear, like it could easily screw over all those plans, because we no longer have the power here. It's all within that other crypto, similar to Bitcoin. Sorry for the big rant, guys, but again, I have to choose my words very carefully. Respect to you, you're awesome. Pantheon, there's no words that could go into how much I have respect for you, brother. So continue the great work, Future well, you're right, Pantheon, and they hired like 84,000 new IRS employees. That's crazy. That's not for the 1%. Yeah, right on. Big banks are going to fight blockchain tooth and nail. Oh yeah, best believe. For central bankers, there is a fear that the emergence of computing private sector crypto payment system, even linked to a basket system, even linked to a basket of flat fiat currency, will change national currencies. Yeah, spot on. They would have to be pretty dopey not to see the Bitcoin in particular is educating the mass about the moral fraud behind the expansion of fiat money. Indeed. The challenge will be to come up with a credible alternative completely under the control of a few major central banks. Yep. And here's the thing, Pantheon. I'll say this. Me knowing how world powers behave, because again, world powers, and this is a little political, guys, sorry for this, and I'm not a political advisor, nor I'm a financial advisor. World powers plan domination 100 years in advance, or plan to be in the dominance 100 years in advance. So what we see as far as our strength on a global level, as far as I'm pertaining to our country, the United States, this was all planned 100 years ago, and a lot of political advisors will tell you that's how it works down. That's what it comes down to. So they don't just act based on the timeline. No, they plan all these things much ahead in order for them to continue being either part of the world dominant forces or the world most dominant force, like in our case. And here's the crazy thing. Do you think they will ever let any of this power go away because of this? I mean, who's to say that Nakamoto, what's his name? That Nakamoto guy that allegedly created the software of Bitcoin. Who's to say that that wasn't a government move? I mean, clearly the guy was never around, and he vanished apparently. Who's to even say that there was such person that created that, and left? yeah, I personally could even think that it was a government move, preparing for a new world order with things like that. But again, this is Satoshi. Yes, thank you for that, Pantheon. Um, it's in the hands of the ones that know who know what's up. Um, but again, the most important thing for us at this point now is valuation, what is going to be happening with them, and how we can benefit. You know, according to like money wise from this whole thing. Now, as far as something that's unrelated to making money and getting politically involved, then there's the right moments and channels for that. And I myself have big involvements in a lot of political things. I enjoy the Macellorian because of the political politics that he brings in, and I totally agree with a lot of things that he brings. Because again, politics is what moves the world. It's not the topic that we love here in the U.S., but is face it, it is what moves the world. I mean, all everything else is nothing if it wasn't for politics. So. Uh, as you can see, the whole world now is revolving around the war in China. I mean, sorry, in Russia and Ukraine, and it's affecting the rest of the globe. You see the prices of things and how everything is rising in value. Um, it's so crazy to see all that happening and not have a side in it. That's me speaking personally for me. So I have my thoughts. I have my political views. Um, but you guys didn't come here for that. You guys came here to hear about what could perhaps make us money, or if you have any question about the market. I just love Pantheon, guys. um, Funny how Kenny G said on TV that he was opposed to crypto until he found out he can trade it. Of course, not only that he found out that he can trade it, he partnered up with those two. Anybody can possibly bring those in the comment section. I forgot the name of them. Um, Two big corporations that are literally almost the leaders in that respectful spectrum. One of them, like I said, owns Coinbase. Um, and he's like he's setting him up, as you can see, guys. He's moving from this sector to go to that sector, and eventually, with all these news circulating about him throwing in a bid for that football club of Chelsea and all that stuff, you can see where I've made this theory that this guy, for all the wrong he's been doing to us and a bunch of other investors in the market, he's getting a promotion. All this you see about him, he's getting a promotion where everybody's advocating for him to get arrested and whatever happening to him and rotting in prison. This guy is transitioning from these trends that I'm seeing, and this is my opinion on this, guys. This guy's getting a promotion. He's getting to the point where he's government untouchable level, and he's coming out of that. So like you will see soon, you're not going to see him as the market maker in this market as we see it. He's already made it clear that he's moving on to that world, because that crypto world is the world to be in, and he wants to be one of the pioneers and leaders in that spectrum. And besides that, he's obviously the richest guy in the state of Illinois. He's showing you that he's flexing his money by going even to try to buy a team abroad. I mean, what more do you want to know from this about that guy? So I think we just need to keep our eyes on our play, and the most important thing, in my opinion, try to get that ATS regulation to pass. And Pantheon, actually, if you're still in the chat, um, I would love for you. I don't want to add more to your plate, but I would love for you to do a very good DD to break down that whole ATS thing, where it was supposed to be passed in September 2020 and how it kept getting can kicked all the way down to now, and how we're looking at it for April 18th to possibly, when all the comments come back, when will it be implemented and all that stuff. You do a very, like, the most phenomenal job I've ever seen on reaching out and finding the whole backstory to where we at, to what is expected, and finding out every little piece to the puzzle. So if you can do that, please, hopefully if you can, hopefully you could accept that challenge and maybe you could go ahead and make that video. Again, not adding more to your plate, but I personally, humbly, have been saying this a lot, that the main crime is going through the dark pools. Uh, um, do you mean Project Ion or Robot Godzilla? No, not that one. It's basically what gives the SCC the right or the govern to see how the dark pools will start reporting all their activity and all their positions, whether it's government traded securities or other securities that are not government, like bonds or anything. Um, and who they're trading it with, what is in those, because as if I don't know if you know this by now, Pantheon, but in those dark pools as we speak right now, there isn't any governance on what is going on in there, you know? So like they can literally go ahead and trade positions back and forth, and whatever they're trading, no one is overviewing that. There's no watch for trade principles, policy, or none of that stuff on it now. The new proposal for the ATS, known as the dark pools reporting regulation, will change all that stuff. That's that proposal. Is they're trying to get that to be changed, and the comments are due by April 18th. Yes. Now, yeah, I'm with you, and you're with me now. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are paying so much attention. Again, in my opinion, and this is to all of you guys in the Pantheon, I've said this a lot, that people are paying so much attention to payment for order flow as it's the main problem, and it really isn't, guys. Like, I'm not saying it's not a problem. Of course, said it a million times. It is a problem. But what good or how harmful will payment for order flow be for us when the middle guy that is paying for those orders to come to him are no longer routed in the dark pool? Then this middle guy will no longer go after these flows. Like no one is going to go to, for example, no one is going to go to Webull or Robinhood and say, we're going to pay you so you can route these orders anymore, because they have no use for them anymore. They can't put them through the dark pool anymore. And that's why I say that payment for order flow was an issue, still is an issue. But if we break the bridge that the payment for order flow is crossing, then there's no more payment for order flow problems. I mean, even Kenny G said it himself like months ago that he's all for payment for order flow to be banned, because the damage that they're doing is being inflicted and already been inflicted through these dark pools, because no one is governing what is going on in there. When you see 60, 70, 50, 80, 90% of trades of a certain stock getting traded privately when it's a publicly traded company, that's all the wrong in the world that you see. And all that crime is in there. And if no one has the ability to go in there to see what is going on in there, like, you know, through whether it's government securities or regular stock, regular securities, then, you know, it's the show goes on basically for them. Are you wanting to make that ATS video? If you're wanting to make that video, then I will stand by. Cool with me. No. This is what I'm saying to you. I want you to make it. You make the best investigative job I've ever seen in my life, personally. And this is coming from someone who've seen a lot. So, and it's interesting how you come with it, also come by with it. Again, I don't want to add more to your plate. I know that when you do it, it will look so much more amazing coming from you than coming from me. Christopher, what is the 0 for? I'm sorry, because we're talking a lot. I forgot what it was for. Oh, let me see. Looked like Future will want to do it. Sorry, 1 second. Where did he? Okay, Future Whale said that was Gary Gensler that made Bitcoin. I studied all that. I can almost guarantee you Gary Gensler. Okay, future whale, is that, are you trying to, are you saying you can do that video to like what we're talking about, me and Pantheon? Because if you can, feel free. Future whale, that would be awesome. Um, at Pantheon, if I can make it. Yeah. Again, I'm approaching the best with DD to do the best and the most important. What I think is the most important. I think it will mean a lot to the rest of the community, not just to, and what you could uncover there, you would probably see that it is the most crucial piece to the puzzle. Oh, you're asking for Gary Gensler to do it? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit confused, but yeah. Uh, you're of course you're the boss of yourself, Pantheon. We all are bosses of ourselves, but it just comes out so much better from you, man. Lou says it's okay to sell. That was okay. When did he say that? He said it's okay to sell AMC. Is this the new thing that is Lou is pushing now? What? Okay. You think Future Well was asking if Future Well could do the video on ATS? Yeah. Um, please go ahead, do it. Um, Future Well. At first, we were talking about Bitcoin, and I was saying that I think Gary Gensler made Bitcoin. Oh, yeah, maybe Future. Last night on a space call, it was maybe AB with the New York guy. It was mayhem um, with the New York guy. Who? Which that guy? Is that the Angelo, the New York Angelo guy? Or are you not just trying to say Lou's name? Because he's also from New York. Um, I just watched the Lou vid. He's just saying, if you need the money for family, it's okay to sell some. I mean, come on, guys. Like, enough with this stuff with this guy. Seriously. As much respect, like, as I said, always over and over again about Lou. Here's the thing. He's said that more than once. Like, if you got to do whatever you got to do, go ahead and do it. And again, that problem that I have the most with is that there is a big following that is entrusting this gentleman. And of course, he comes out to do that. But I'm not against anyone selling or buying or whatnot. I'm just going to go ahead with investing 101 mindset with you guys. If you've already made a position and you went about it the proper way, which means you didn't over leverage yourself or took money that was supposed to be for your kids or your family. You didn't take food from the table so you could just buy more shares with AMC. If you haven't done any of that and you invested like the common sense investor does, which is investing 101, invest what you don't need or what will not hurt you if you were to lose it. If you went about your investment with any investment, whether it's AMC or anything else, then you would have nothing of that to worry about. But if you went all in on something and it's not playing out the way it is, then that means that person that perhaps have led you down this dark alley, which is Lou in this case, now you're looking for them, turning to them for help, but unfortunately they're telling you, okay, I can't do nothing for you. All along I've just been, throwing out dates and throwing out info and all this stuff, and now it's okay for you to do what you got to do. I mean, he's just basically making it easier for you to make that decision. He's not telling you to do it. He's just making it easier to do so. And it's very unfortunate. I'll just say that. Ah, not Lou, his buddy, Blue Ice. Oh, Blue Diva. I call him Blue Diva. Uh, Lou just said he can't tell people to sell or to hold. Yeah, neither did anyone. This Blue Diva guy, I mean, I had it with him guys before. When he called people kids on one of his tweets, right away for me, I've already lost respect for this guy long time ago. But the main thing is like when I feel like an individual in front of me is trying to flex on me or others, automatically I have a problem with it. No one loves a bully, especially me, and no one likes wrong treatment. When someone is referring kids and all this stuff, it's kind of like he gives me that appeal that he belongs to the big 1%, but he's down with me for now. So trust me because I'm your master and whatever. So I he rubbed me off the wrong way already. But from as far as I see, they saw the success that Lou had raising the community, and his buddies wanted to have some some of that action, and they started doing the same thing. I mean, where were those guys in the beginning of the movement? They just popped up what a few months ago. Besides Lou mentioning them in his video, that's it. But now they're all like starting channels of their own and all that stuff. Um, he also rubbed me the wrong way when he was like, "Oh, when you have the need to come out and tell people," I think it's just again, sorry for this French. I don't never swear on my channel. You guys know this. But when you feel the need to come out to tell people on this squeeze play that, hey, just to let you know, kids, I'm going to be dumping my position left and right, and I'm going to be scalping this play left and right when it goes down. I mean, you have to be a dick to do something like this. I'm sorry for that, French guys, but you have to be a dick to say that. You have people, I know there's a lot of people within their community and even within this community that, have been swearing with this whole idea of buying and holding. And you got somebody who comes out and say this. I mean, in a way, if we don't hold, if we all were to turn around and sell, guess how much he loses? Let me put this out there like this. He claims that he has like big position, like hundreds of thousands of shares, right? Who stands to lose here more? Let's say, for example, I have 200 shares. Let's say I'm one of the average investors, and I know the average is supposed to be 500, but let's say I have 200 shares. If I decided to sell now and I got in at the $25 range and I lost a little chunk of money, and let's say everybody else had the same amount and they all decided to do the same thing, do what he's talking about doing, do you know how much his losses will be? Because he has hundreds of thousands of shares, unlimited. So why come out and tell people this theory of yours and feel like you're doing the people a favor by, hey, I'm just telling you this is what I need. You don't need to tell people that. Do it. What you do is what you do. And this goes for all of you guys. No one can come and tell you when to sell, how you should sell, when to buy, when to hold, any of that stuff. It's you. It's your decision. But you don't need to have the need to come out and put it out there so you can help influence other people's decisions. You know what I'm saying? This is my main issue with that. So as far as I can care, that guy can go trip on an ice. Pantheon said he changed his tune from Friday night. He's doing damage control today. Yeah, it never gets old with these guys. Sheen yells, no, Lou said don't down on someone if they decide to sell to enter another play with that money. Yeah, that's very nice of him. He said if you need money for other stocks, it's okay to sell. That's not cool. I mean, I don't see what he created new though. Like this is, of course, it's not cool, but like, okay, what new alternative did he just bring to his following? Like, okay, it's okay to do it. Like, hey, when people got in this play or any other play, they were not waiting for Lou to say it's okay. Go ahead, you can press that buy button. I'm pretty sure, or I hope that whoever is in his following group is not that naive, you know? So, yeah, what did he bring new? Of course, if that person doesn't have any money in the bank, is over leveraged everywhere else, no credit cards, whatever, where else are they going to turn to? Their holdings. Um, Now, the good question is, guys, what other stock do you think MULN can bring you back more money, more profits than what AMC can bring you? This is my question to you, and you guys could take it to, if you're part of the Lou circle, go ahead, take it there and see what they respond, if they even answer that question. Because if they say, yes, it's smart, yeah, these pump and dump stocks on a daily base can bring you back more money, and then then you're in for a rude awakening, because eventually when you do day trading, you're always, the chances of you catching a loss here or there are much higher. It's just natural. The more you do, the more your chances of screwing up somewhere rises, goes higher, because you're doing it more. That doesn't require, like, let's say you do go ahead and take out your money from AMC and you go and jump into any of these stocks that you want to just jump in. What if it doesn't go into your favor? How many of you remember Funware, PHUN? Do you remember when he was advising his follower, saying, hey, go jump into that, but don't get caught, you silly little, what his how he goes about it. When he does that, how many people got burnt on that at PHUN? I want to meet one person that said not after the day he did, because the first initial pop that PHUN had, he had no idea about it. He started talking about it like a month or 2 months later after that first initial pop to the $12-18 range. And then the second time it started to rise, small pennies. He was like, okay, guys, after hours pre-market, remember, get in, get out, blah, blah, blah. That same day, I had so many people come and tell me this, guys. This is why I'm bringing this up. That very same trading day to the next day, everyone who got into fun lost so much money. Now, imagine if you were an AMC, you sold some of your position or sold your whole position to follow this in the pursuit of making more money so you can have a bigger AMC position. Well, you just lost all that there. How are you going to feel? If AMC squeezes, let's say, next month, next week, next year, whatever, how will you feel? And seeing it go to where it goes, how would you feel that you were in it for a whole year and then you lost it all by doing something on the side like this? Again, I'm not going to tell you to sell or to buy or to hold or when to not buy or sell. But again, this is an emotional topic for me. As you guys can tell, I'm very emotional. And it is, I don't like to see wrong happen on the market and then not address it in a way. Sorry, fellas. He was on a space call with Blue Eyes, and they both said to sell on Monday and buy back in later. I was there. Blue Eyes got torched. What, Pantheon? Could you tell me what was his? Could you guys tell me like what was his what was his strategy behind that? Like what was that going to accomplish? Buying back on Monday and like selling on Monday and buying right back? Hmm. He then made videos today trying to be softer because he lost 200 to 300 subs overnight. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm surprised that he still have subs. I missed the call last night. I guess it got toxic. Yeah, it better get toxic. Blue balls. Call him Blue Diva. Alan calls him blue balls. Thinks he's above you. Yeah, that's what rubbed me initially the wrong way from that guy. You think you're above who? Who are you? You're nothing. Like if he thinks he can, never mind. Let me tone it down. The Marine X guy got on the call and it went haywire. Oh, who's that? The spaghetti guy? I thought all three of them were the Three Stooges or Musketeers. They were all on the same page, and Lou always had the stories about them or whatever not. Alan, I wish I would have been on that call. Yeah, me too. I wish I could be on many of these calls out there and actually try to spread like real info to people, not just like, talk about how I can scare people by twisting their spine and all that stuff. Like, come on, dog, be about it. Don't say it. Okay, so Pantheon said, Lou said previously he's not an ape and he's only here to make money. Last night he lost a ton of subs. Today he says we all need to get back to the movement. Are people actually believing this? Um, yeah, okay. Um, Good thing. That's just one of the other things you just mentioned, Pantheon, about Lou, which is another thing that Lou does. Um, Listen, guys, I don't have a knock on anybody's hustle. I just have a problem when someone tries to paint themselves as an individual when their true intentions are not that individual, okay? That's my only problem I would say with that. So if I feel like you are crap and your intentions are not matching what your true agenda is, then that's a problem for me, you know? Nothing against, again, like look, Trey, Matt Kors, that dork guy, review dork guy, yeah. Lou, when you have a lot of subs and you're getting paid by YouTube and whatnot, I don't have any problem with that. But if that's your agenda, come out and say that. Don't lead people astray thinking that, oh yeah, guys, trust me, and throw out those dates and eventually harm the movement than helping it. All for your very own image, you know? So this is very selfish. This is terrible. And you just come out, guys. Like just come out, say what your agenda is. Like, hey guys, I'm part of this movement just like you and just like me. I'm glad that I got these subscribers. I'm glad that I'm making money. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. But don't mask it with all the other sugar or don't sugarcoat it with all the other stuff and talk about some other crap, saying that their intentions are to make you and like he cares only about you squeezing and making money. I mean, guys, how many trips have been canceled? If you're in the Luke community, yeah, only you would know that. There's a certain percentage of people that put too much hope, faith in Lou and not enough in their own decisions. Yeah, because he came at a time, I agree, Pabloco. He came in at a time that everything was still in the beginning, like, well, in April he came. And it kills me when he says that I came in and I saved the play. Like, bro, you did not save anything. You came out of the woodworks out of nowhere and you started talking this. Yeah, I'm not saying you don't have experience. I respect his expertise, obviously being in so many years and at least around the market now. Can I verify he really everything that he says is true or false? I can't. Neither do I care. I'm not going to take out of my time for that. But when you say that that you are pushing all this and you know all this and you do all that, and this is going to squeeze in no time for this. I mean, he damaged a lot of people in June, more than any of you can think of. And the way that I know that is because back then there was many people that were literally holding option plays on that play, and they kept holding on to them thinking that that was not the squeeze. Why would I sell them? They had hundreds of thousands of dollars in profits that that they were like, no, we're gonna make millions. So kind of listening to what Lou was saying, expecting the numbers that he was saying, because his brackets are always changing, from month to month. So up till then, the brackets were 12,000, 14,000, and possibly more. And then after the June situation, I think in September or October, that's when his tone started changing about something else. So that's how he was responsible for damaging a lot of other people indirectly. Sheen, I agree with Pantheon because we never left off the movement. Uh, yeah, simple as that. Future said, I think Lou's been talking to short sellers this whole time, if you ask me. Possibly, you know. Does it matter to me? Not one bit. Now, of course, it does matter when the thing starts going down, and when it starts going down, um, I have never been looking at Lou, or for this fact, I've never looked at any other YouTube for as far as what prices I'm gonna sell at or what prices I will be unloading. No YouTuber. I don't. I listen to many of them. I see what they have to offer, but when it comes to that part, nobody can influence me into that because I have my own strategy, and so should you guys. Seems as he's putting the idea of division amongst us, which I believe is not. Yeah, I see a lot of that division, and now lately it's been coming out as if you're not Team Lou, you're Team GYFM, as he says. Um, do I care? Do I give any? I'm gonna watch my language here, guys. But again, it's pointless. These guys are pointless. Blue Eye says people can sell on Monday, double their money, then buy back into AMC in 2 weeks. What about people who just hit long-term taxes that would reset? Oh my God. I mean, that's one thing, Pantheon, is the long-term. This is wild. This is crazy. This all happened on that space call? I can't believe this. Wow. Of course, rather than just losing capital gains, you also don't understand. What if you are one of the people that are holding real shares in your portfolio? Okay, none of the synthetics. Obviously, no one knows where's real and where's synthetic, but of course, they all have to be dealt with. But when you give up your position and you sell it, how do you know that it's not going to squeeze in a week's time or tomorrow? How do you know that? Will you be able to go back to Blue Eye Diva and tell him, hey, you screwed me. It's closed the next day or 2 days from now or whatever. And I never was able to buy back in. How do you even know that in the process of the MOS that the buy button wouldn't be going away? How do we know that? I mean, we wouldn't want it, but how do you know that for sure that it's not going to happen? How does he know? Because if any of that happens and you can't buy back in or whatever, what do you think? You're going to reach out to him? What are you going to get out of him? Oh, like he just easily can delete his YouTube page, his Twitter account. And just like that, he goes off in the wind and you're left there to lick your wounds. Again, guys, these are the kind of decisions that no space call should influence you into doing. You know, when you sell, when you buy, how to go about it, that's all up to you. You just don't need to come out there and, you know, throw it out on people and say, hey, I've sold or I'm selling or whatever. Because again, you're part of influencing the rest of the community. Alan. Alan says, when an OG from January 2021 sells their shares, there is a possibility that they're giving the hedge funds real shares back. Yeah, very, very possible for sure. Future, you are right. I hope people hear you. Thank you, Future. And Pantheon, I got a jet. You're doing great. Thank you, AB. Pantheon, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm about to jet as well. I've been already super, also getting late to, attend my activities soon. But thank you so much for dropping by, and I look forward to seeing you soon. And I'm gonna tune into that Mandalorian stream that you were talking about. Send my wishes and my thanks to also the rest of your family and your Mrs. Pantheon. And hopefully you guys have a great rest of your weekend. There's clips of the space call floating around on YouTube, but maybe it doesn't warrant more attention. Yeah, again, none of it will. I might look at it for entertainment or listen to it for as far as entertainment purpose, but I don't care. As far as it's not going to change what I think about what I'm going to do. Future said, I know I have real shares because Merrill Lynch closed my account and all my shares got sent to computer shares. So I paid for a certificate. Well, yeah, That's good. Um, do you lose your long-term tax date if you sold one share? Um, okay. Well, no. Again, if you sold within less than that year, then on that share that you sold, you lose. As far as I see, maybe you need to link up with the. I mean, as small of a question it is still a very very valid question, and it is a very important question. I don't think, from my uh, sense, I would say I don't think it's only you get charged long term on that particular trade, which is that one share. Uh, but as far as the rest of your position, no. So let's say you were thinking about that blue eye situation, for example, and you're trying to put that together with that question. If you sell, like, whatever, half of your position, then obviously you pay uh, that short-term tax capital on it because you didn't hold it for more than a year. And then you also would most likely be doing the same thing, because they were saying, like, you're going to do it twice because you're going to go get in some other stock. Hopefully everything goes great for you, and then if everything goes according to plan, you make some more money, then you come back and you buy into AMC again, which means that your new reset uh, on selling, like when you bought into that position, goes from 2 weeks from now. Do you get what I'm saying? And then now you have to wait a whole year after that for capital gains. Now, don't here's the thing, guys. When it comes to capital gains, when this squeeze takes off and you see the numbers that it takes to, I'm going to end this live with this, guys. In June of 2021, when I had all these calls that I had playing, the price of AMC was beginning to take off from, like, and in the end of May, that's when it started happening. It started taking off from, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then when it got to 12, that was normally for us for 6 months since January of 2021. That was our ceiling, that we just could not break that level. When that got broke, at that time, the highest option that you could buy out of the money was $40, you know? So imagine, in one day, after it broke from the $14 level, it took moments before it broke to 16, 17, 18. And then when it went to 20, it's just a liftoff. In that one day, and I have screenshots of this, in that one day, there was turnarounds on these, on that were over $900,000 in a matter of hours. So as much as this whole thing is bringing you down and the timing, I'm just here to tell you, and that was just a run up from the teens to 70. Ludicrous, right? I'm not telling you now to go get options. I'm not telling you and all of this, but what I'm telling you is, if that small run up happened from that price to that price, imagine when the real squeeze is there and it happens. Do you know how much uh, do you know how much, like, you will see, like, all the things that you will see in your account will over triumph the past. Like, it will overlook all the past, all the hard times of holding, all the gimmicks that were done on us and to us. All that will be literally, you will look back at it and you will laugh, because again, once you see it go crazy and you're a part of it, you're going to lose your mind, you're going to lose your senses, and it's going to be a complete different world. Trust me, leading up to that June, and those trades that I had back then, leading up to that, I was in the worst, like, time, like, ever. Like, I'm feeling down, everything, like how everybody is right now. But when it happened, in a matter of moments, my morale was completely different. And by the next day, I was a complete different man. So this same thing will and should happen to you, hopefully. Uh, and all it takes is obviously just being patient and buying and holding. If you're doing so, great for you. If you're not doing, hey, you're doing whatever you want to do. Who you listen to is up to you. What you do is also up to you. At the end of the day, AB came out here, put out 3.5 hours of this fine Saturday. Now he's late to his cards game and the hookahs. not the hookers, hookah, the smoking hookah. So let's not become YouTube famous for something else. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. If you haven't liked the video, please go ahead and do so. It pushes it out to more and more people. And if you have any questions or things that you want to, know answers for, even pertaining to any other stocks or any of that, please drop it down in the commenting section. And much love, AB Investments.